mind if I do?
Covino and Rich.
Are you ready? Honestly, how do I deal with you every day?
Get ready.
Heard all about it on the radio.
Get ready.
Whoa! Yeah!
Holy mother nugget! And holy mother meatball!
I'm the smartest man alive! You're so ridiculous. What? You're such a fool. Get out of here.
Oh, I'm a disc jockey.
What's a disc jockey?
Turn it up. We're doing the show. Here we go. Covino and Rich.
Let's go!
All right. It's the first of the month. June 1. How about that? Uno de Junio. Welcome to our show. Shout out to all the Junios. Not enough of them. Not enough of them. There's a few, though. Someday I'll have a son named him Junio. I'm touring Junio, Gaston, or just Stadon, short for Mastodon. I mean, I'm trying to figure it out. Have the kid first, and then that debate starts. I'll get there one day. Got plenty of time, right? Covino, Rich, Spot, thank you guys for hanging out, hanging and banging, slamming and jamming, rip roaring and ramming. Boom! Let's go! Boom! Let's go! Welcome to the show. Pride month begins. How old was Letterman when he had his son Harry? 57. 57? Because I saw him talking about Harry a little bit. He never does. Harry's 18 now. Can you believe that? I do believe that. Bow, bow. Some people say it's sort of a selfish move to have a kid so late because they grow up without a dad. But Letterman's hanging in there looking good. I think Letterman's got at least another 10 years, so Harry will be 28. I mean, what is Letterman, 75? Well, today, Morgan Freeman, how often do you look at a man's shoes? He's 85, so 85's doable. Morgan Freeman, if he's healthy? Hung around enough to have relations with his granddaughter or something like that, didn't he? Something creepy enough. Hey, you hang around long enough, you start doing weird shit. Yeah. I mean, so the story went for a minute. I don't know the outcome of that story. I like Morgan Freeman. If that's true, that's weird. So I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, Dan, welcome to the show. Hey. Damn. Sports, entertainment, life, your feedback, life observations, and more. Welcome to our Patreon. If there's anyone new subscribing for June, welcome to the Patreon. Thank you for being here. You know, every night I woke up late today. I was up late last night, but not on purpose. Just couldn't fall asleep, and I kept watching next episode of nothing new, to be honest. I can't get into Stranger Things yet. I don't know. I'm not in the mindset to watch something like cool and creepy and scary. Like, it's just not where my head's at when I'm done at the end of the day. I don't know why. I'll get into it, just not yet. I'm not forcing you to watch it, but it's good. I'm watching it. There's Prideful Spot. Happy Pride. All excited for this month. I watched. By the way, I'm going to read, much like every brand does, I'm going to obnoxiously rebrand everything. And then as soon as Pride Month is over, bam. Oh, like you said, like everything. Like, oh, we're all about pride. And then it doesn't exist. I have a funny story about Pride Month. We'll get to it in just a second. Now, I started watching. Now, I'd watched it before, but maybe like 5 or 6 of them. I watched them all now. Comedians in Cars, Getting Coffee with Jerry Seinfeld. Mm-hmm. I don't love it. I know you loved it more than I did. I feel like I just enjoy watching Seinfeld talk to anyone because I just love Jerry Seinfeld. Mm-hmm. And he just much like the Letterman show, my next guest, the guests are always really interesting type of people. So you're going to watch. But what I love about it, they're like 15 to 18 minutes. And my attention span is perfect for that. Agreed. I watched the JB
Which
Smoove
is why
one.
People don't want to hear it, but we've conditioned our audience to think that we have to do 2 hours and 30 minutes, 40 minutes, when honestly that's counterproductive for everybody because that's not how the world works anymore. Yeah. 18 minutes. What was it? There was a 22-minute one, and I remember my thought was like, oh, Norm Macdonald. I watched my pal Norm, and I think that might have been my favorite Comedians in Cars. Him and Seinfeld together. The Stern one was good. JB Smoove, I wanted to be more JB Smoove. It was quick. It was 15 minutes. Have you watched that one? I think I've seen them all.
Yeah, but they were good. I watched those, and I know it's not a newer show, but it did make me realize some of these guys that we grew up with are getting older and older and older, and all these, like Jerry Seinfeld's not a young guy at all anymore.
I mean, if they're getting older, that just means we're getting older too. Everybody's getting older.
My favorite part of the one with Norm, where Norm's like, you don't have any kids. So Seinfeld's like, what do you mean I don't have kids? I have 3 kids. And Norm's like, well, did that like shocking look? Like,
that's funny.
But yeah, no, I mean, Seinfeld, kids later in life, Letterman, kids later in life. So you got time.
Yeah. Little Junio. He's coming. When
you're 57.
You'll see. Yeah,
like 15 years.
Like 12 years or something. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about me. Worry about you. Happy Pride Month. Covino and Rich. That's our social media, at Covino and Rich. We're on social media, much like Derek Jeter. We'll talk about him a little bit. Some sports.
He's already
entertainment.
He's already dropping disses. Already slapping back.
Yeah,
clapping back.
I love it. So hope you had a great Tuesday night. It's a Wednesday that feels like a Tuesday, but we're already halfway through the week, a short work week. Last night, like Rich said, I was watching Stranger Things. Jordan's in like Pirates of the Caribbean sort of vibe. With all the Johnny Depp stuff going on. So she's watching that. I'm like, all right, I'll meet you there. I'll watch Stranger Things. So I'm watching Stranger Things, and I'm digging that hardcore. I haven't gotten to Top Gun yet. I know it's the Top Gun rage of 2022. Maverick, bro, I'm going to name my first son Maverick. Bro, greatest movie ever. Edge of my seat, man. Exceeded expectations. Dude, you got to see it, bro.
Oh, my God. I thought last night.
Bro, you got to go.
Bro, last night.
Are you taking a shit? Or are you just passionate about the movie? Bro, you got it.
I played softball last night, and the guys I play with, a lot of them.
Everybody loves it.
A lot of them are in that acting world and just the, love. A lot of like movie nerds I play softball with on Tuesday nights, and these guys, I thought they were all going to jizz their pants on the spot. Like,
seriously.
Yo, you watched it? Oh, I watched it. I watched it twice. Like everyone. Woo, man. Then there's one guy I play softball with. He works in special effects, and people are like, tell me how they did the plane scene. Well, here's what they did. I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh, Top Gun, the rage.
She's next level, bro. You gotta see it, man. Maverick, bro. The conversation with Tom Cruise, all the flights. Oh man, you gotta stop with it, because I'm gonna see it eventually, but I do have to recap the first one. It's been a minute.
Me too.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've been in the danger zone. So give me some time. But in the meantime, yeah, I'm watching Stranger Things, watching the Yankees annihilate the Angels with that piece of shit Mike Trout. I say that because, well, there's another news story about Mike Trout that we'll get to later on. He's a terrible fantasy sports commissioner. But I was watching some sports, now gearing up, because tomorrow is the NBA Finals, and then people are going to be like, bro, you didn't see Maverick, bro. You got to go. Oh, Maverick. Well, I ever saw, bro. Just my pants. You got to go. I'm like, dude, I'm watching the finals, man. Chill.
Our buddy Mike.
Oh, that guy.
Shannon's husband.
Weenie.
Shannon's, not husband, boyfriend. He's a huge movie guy. That's like his life. He works at Universal. He's an actor. He wrote a book about 007. He's like I said, superhero action movie.
Did you say a superhero?
A superhero.
No, he's a soupy.
Superhero.
He's a superhero.
He loves all that stuff, man.
So soupy.
And he even wrote on his social media, I was worried my friends, the press, and basically everyone had oversold and overhyped Top Gun Maverick. And I'm so damn glad that was not the case. Maverick. Woo, what a fucking movie. A movie with some of the most incredible action I've ever seen on screen.
You know what? I changed my mind. I'm not naming my first son Junio or Gaston or...
Oh, Goose?
It's Maverick.
Wow.
Yeah, Maverick. Maverick Covino. Because, I mean, everyone's going to love him.
Yeah. How can they not?
Who's going to hate Maverick?
You love Maverick? Of course I love Maverick. Who doesn't love it? Maverick.
Sarah Palin style. All right, so I'm glad you enjoyed it. Honestly, I haven't seen a buzz about a movie like this in a long time.
I can't tell you the last time I did.
Truthfully, yeah. I can't tell you the last time I saw people freaking out about a movie.
Probably like Avengers Endgame.
Avengers, I was going to say when the dude with the glove with all the diamonds on it.
I was going to say Ghost. I was going to go back to Swayze.
The dude with the glove with all the diamonds on it.
Yeah, the guy that ends the world. That dude.
I was going to say...
What's his name?
E.T.
He looks like a big rock.
E.T. maybe.
What Jaws the Revenge. No.
For real, man. People are losing their shit about this.
Avatar was a good one. Avatar had a lot of hype.
I can't believe you haven't seen it,
Andrew, that's a good one. I saw Avatar in the theater based on the hype. I liked it. I didn't know
The new Avatar looks. I'm excited about that.
It's crazy because I've seen that story before. It's called Romeo and Juliet, West Side Story, Nomeo and Juliet. But it was a great movie. However, it never added up correctly for me. Like, it was a big movie, broke records, took forever to make. I liked it, but that's where it ended for me. Like, I didn't watch it again. Never really saw much hype about it again. Critically, it was acclaimed. But then you see, like, theme parks, and they dedicate Avatar worlds to it. And you're like, was it really that big?
Yeah.
I never had an Avatar action figure. I've never seen one.
You never had an Avatar blue boner?
I've never had an Avatar lunchbox.
I did for Zoe Saldana.
Never had an Avatar Trapper Keeper. Never had an Avatar Foam Finger.
That
I know it was a box
movie.
office draw.
Woo.
I get it. But like
Not
worthy
only
enough for an Avatar land, which by the way was fantastic. It's one of the most.
Well,
let me give you my Maverick. My Maverick.
Let's hear it.
My Maverick what? Interpretation of how I felt coming out of Avatar land in Disney World. Holy shit, bro, you gotta go. I went in during the day, bro, and it was insane. But when I came out, it was nighttime and everything was glowing, bro. You gotta go.
Was he on something?
What do you mean? Avatar world
This
or
is
land?
you? Him.
Yeah, I went.
Oh, I
It's
thought you
in
were
Florida.
talking about.
Yeah.
But it's insane.
Jeez.
But you see
I
how
thought you were talking about a friend.
how mammoth this
never heard you that
franchise
excited.
was, and you're like, wow. I mean, the movie was all right, just never added up properly.
The movie was
for
good.
me. It was
But
good.
the effects, I remember actually being pretty taken aback at how good the movie was in the theater. So Avatar is a good answer. Titanic is a great answer.
I'm a
When
huge Sigourney Weaver fan too.
Titanic was a situation where I remember women saw
Sigourney.
Titanic multiple times. We talked about that just the other day, how I've never gone to see a movie in the theater twice. I don't think.
Seriously, you have to go back to Titanic to get the reaction you're getting from Top Gun. I guess because it hits all the feels of nostalgia, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, I was thinking about this. How fuck yeah is Tom Cruise right now?
Well, he didn't want to do the movie. He had to be talked into it.
But how, like, fuck yeah, I still got it. He's jumping up on couches all over again. Who's more stoked than Tom Cruise about the
There's-
success of this movie?
Mission Impossible's coming out next year, so I feel like, dude, this was just an afterthought for him. He's like, yeah, I'll do it for nostalgia.
Yeah, but he's saying
I know people will love it.
people could say what they want, they could think what they want. I'm still the fucking guy. Yeah, he's
jumping
loving
on
every
couches.
second of it.
telling
Loving
everyone
every
they're glib, jumping
Crazy.
on couches. Yeah, Tom Cruise. There has to be a part of him that's
second.
like, wow.
Still the guy. How old is he?
After everything he's done, his number one box office weekend opener ever. We're talking in the history of a guy that we've already considered one of the biggest movie stars of all time. So yeah, no one's on cloud nine,
don't-
living it up more.
Ever let someone tell you that you peaked? Because
how,
Tom Cruise, like Rich said, a guy who's done it all, is peaking now at what, 57? How old is he? 65? How old is he? 102 years old?
I'm gonna say 60.
I'm saying 61. How old's Tom Cruise?
Oh, didn't we 60?
60.
Oh, he's 60. Okay.
So
No, wait. Or was he 59?
this dude's breaking his
And
own
he was
records.
gonna be 60 this
at
year.
60. Man,
Oh,
good
yeah,
for him.
remember he's 59. He's 60 this year.
Wow.
So he's 59 right now. He's
So-
60 in a month.
Man,
Props to you, Tom.
Born on the 3rd of July.
But
Maybe,
people are freaking out about it. I'm
Maybe
like,
there
yo,
was a
man.
need for speed. Maybe there was a need
No,
for this
again,
action.
wonder how,
nostalgia mixed with action, mixed with Tom Cruise, and
I wonder how Kelly McGillis feels about all this.
you know what? I don't know.
Left out. Sad.
Wonder how Anthony Edwards feels about all this.
No cameos? I don't know.
I mean, he's dead, but
Anthony Edwards?
meaning in his characters.
Oh,
That was
Yeah,
Dude,
that
like
was
I
Goose.
said,
That was
it's
Goose.
been a minute since I've been in the danger zone.
I wonder how Mr. Strickland feels about all this.
Some people, I'm getting a lot of feedback too. You know what the other mind blaster is? Like, can you believe so-and-so never saw the original? Shout out to Dr. Tim. Dr. Tim, I'm sorry, I just realized I didn't get back to you. Dr. Tim said, can you believe that Jaime Tavares never saw the original Top Gun? But I've gotten that like so many times. Like, bro, I can't believe that Bart didn't see the original.
I'll tell you what.
But I got to tell you, I've seen the original. And I mentioned yesterday, way back on a Wednesday, I used to play the game. And I used to love the game because the graphics were dope. And I'd try to refuel the fighter jets. And it was tough. On Nintendo, the game was great. It was really great. Top Gun for Nintendo, it looked cool. It was difficult. It's like a hard game. But I definitely need a refresher. It wasn't one of those like I had on VHS and DVD and watched a million times.
That's a great
I saw it
assessment.
a few times.
The great assessment is, did you have it on VHS?
Yeah.
And
I'm sure most people
did. If you didn't,
I didn't.
Which you did not and I did not, that means you probably saw it on cable TV or network TV here or there, and you know what happened? You probably saw it once in the theater when you were a little boy. But Top Gun, I could promise you, my mom and dad, I'm not quite sure they saw it. It was not a top movie in my household.
Yeah, so before I watch the new one, I don't want to miss all the references to the original. I don't. So I do have to brush up on it. But you know what? I'll do that, when I'm done watching the Yankees whoop on the Angels again, Stranger Things. When I'm done, hot stepping in my Magic shoes. When I'm done watching the NBA Finals. Got a lot of things going on. There it is, Top Gun, the Nintendo game. Spot's playing. Spot, the toughest part is refueling, though. Refueling's like a bitch.
Landing
was tough. No, landing was like,
which missile should I choose?
No. Left. Oh, hey,
40 missiles.
Yeah.
Here we go.
It was good. Like, these were great graphics at the time. By the way, there's some video game news we'll get to later today.
Do you
It involves
remember
John Madden? That's why I said boom right off the gate.
Do you remember the top VHS tapes in the Covino household that were in heavy rotation?
It wasn't even necessarily ones that you bought. A lot of times it was ones that you recorded.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, what was...
I remember, like, it could have been a random movie. Like, Jeff Bridges' Starman. Like, what a random movie. But someone recorded it, so I watched it like 3 or 4 or 15 times.
The number one probably overwatched VHS tape where the tracking was probably bad because we watched it so much on the same VHS tape. Because remember, VHS tapes had, 6 hours? So you could tape 3 movies on a VHS tape for the most part. Yeah. Most of them had 6 hours. 6 hours was the standard, I think, back then. Then 8, I think. But we had Major League and Naked Gun on the same VHS tape. So there are days where you popped it in and you got Major League, Wild Thing, Rick Vaughn, and then Naked Gun, Leslie Nielsen. That was probably the number one overwatched VHS tape in my house.
Yeah, we had a lot of that, but my mom was more into like the classics. So
Back to the Future was one that we overwatched a lot.
when I say classics, I don't mean like Back to the Future, which is a classic.
You're talking like old ass movies.
Yeah, my mom had like Casablanca and Angels with Dirty Faces and Yankee Doodle Dandy.
I think because
I love James Cagney.
I think we had Jaws 1 and 2 on the same VHS tape back to back. Also, like Top Gun was not in the rotation. I've seen it, but I will say, much like you,
It's been
a
a minute.
refresher is needed.
It's been a minute since we've been in the danger zone, so give us some time. So it's the Top Gun Maverick rage of 2022. I think we made our point. But
I'm with Mouser.
We haven't seen an outcry like this since like Titanic days.
Yeah, Titanic.
And we got phones, so let's say what's up. to some
Titanic, Avatar, yeah. But I'm with Mouser. A lot of Seagal movies on VHS in my household as well. Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, Above the Law, Under Siege. Who we got?
Rocket Dog.
Yo, Rocket Poo, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, buddy.
So, I've unashamedly said for years, Top Gun, the original, is my favorite movie. So I've been waiting a long time for this to come out. I was worried that they overhyped it. I don't see a lot of movies in theaters just because I have kids, and when I do, typically it's kids' movies.
Yeah.
I was so glad I'm so glad I saw it in theater. It was well worth the wait. It was so well done. 2 things. Number one, if you've watched the original, if it's been a while, watch it again because they did such a good job with symbolism, pulling things from the original movie and putting it in here. There's one line in particular that if you know the movie, you'll get it, but it's only referenced once in the original. But it's very obvious.
Ooh, pay attention, then.
But the other thing is, if you've never seen the original Top Gun, like my wife has never watched it with me all the way through. This one does stand alone. There's enough backstory that they fill you in on, so you know what's going on. So even if you've never seen Top Gun, you don't have to watch it. You will understand what's going on. You'll know the story, and you'll be pulled in right away.
Good to know. Let me ask you this, since you're a savant here, you're a super fan. Do they show unreleased footage that wasn't in the original, like they did in Karate Kid, like Cobra Kai? Or is it all footage from the movie?
No unreleased footage, but they do a lot of, like, the movie starts the exact same way. Like, if you remember, in the original, there's a blurb that comes up about what Top Gun was. It's literally the exact same thing. It tells you
you've said too much.
Created,
all right, well, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Hey man, that's coming from a super fan who has high expectations. We've heard it over and over again, man. The testimonials for this movie have been like none I've seen in years, and that's cool to see. You know, it feels like a roller coaster ride the way people describe it. I mentioned that yesterday, and I'm not dumping on the movie. I'm just poking fun at people's like crazy reaction toward it, like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Well, Maverick, this is the feedback we're getting. Maverick is everything you needed it to be and everything you didn't know you wanted.
Oh yeah, I read that. Who wrote that? Well, I saw that.
I'm looking now, and is it true they already took it off Netflix?
What?
Top Gun?
Oh, I didn't know that. Spot, did you get to refuel yet?
No,
in the Top Gun Nintendo game?
Oh no.
Spot, Top Gun was on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon? Where was it?
Netflix.
No, I'm gonna have to rent it on Amazon.
Well, I heard great things from everybody.
How much do you think it is to rent on Prime Video? $2.99?
Regular Top Gun?
Let's see. Top Gun.
Oh, you know what looks really great too? We made a mention of it yesterday, I believe. But the trailer for Pinocchio came out.
Oh, included on Prime.
Oh, okay.
Included on Prime.
So you can watch the original Top Gun on Prime if you have Amazon Prime. The trailer for Pinocchio came out with Tom Hanks.
I wrote it down because you're such a big Pinocchio guy.
I am a big
I wondered
Pinocchio
if you
guy.
were excited about this.
I got a little emotional watching the trailer.
You're the only
and
guy.
I really couldn't see it well because the sun was blaring and glaring on my phone. And I was like, it looks good. Is that Tom Hanks' Geppetto, huh? It looks, yeah, it kind of looks like Geppetto. Anyway, I always loved Pinocchio.
Not that I didn't. I just, of all the friends and family I have,
Loved it. It's a dark movie.
You're the one guy that
Which loves Finocchio.
that you.
Yeah, you know what I had on VHS? Pinocchio. 16 Candles. That was a big one in my house. Over and over again. John Hughes movies, things like that. But Pinocchio, the trailer came out. Looks great. Looks really good. Jiminy Cricket looks great.
Pinocchio.
I haven't seen Pinocchio though.
I enjoyed Pinocchio.
I always appreciated him as a little wooden boy. Though.
I enjoyed Pinocchio as a kid, but you're the guy that if you were to say, yo, name your top 5 animated movies or Disney movies of all time. Pinocchio's not on my top 5. I feel like it might make your top 5.
It's my number 1, I think.
Gotta fuel.
I don't think there's a cartoon I like better than that.
Fuel, time to fuel.
Lampwick was. Oh, here he is fueling. This is when it gets tough. You're like up. You're like, oh, I gotta refuel. Left, right. It basically sticks it in the ass of the airplane. Speed up. Oh, there you go. Oh, it's like Rich in the early 2000s.
Oh, fill me up.
Yo. Rich hasn't been filled up like that since the early 2000s.
Since the early 2000s.
So I think we made our point, right?
I think we can move on.
We all love movies and
hold on, I
entertainment,
gotta land
but
now.
people are freaking out about Top Gun. The end. Ta-da! But it's like enough with the pressure. You gotta go. I will see it eventually. But I do want to see it in the theater because I feel like that's the perfect type of movie to see in a theater.
I'll go with you. You want to go next week to an afternoon show right after we do our show? Give yourself the rest of the week to chill, and we'll go to like a nice emptier theater next week. Grab a little popcorn at like a lunchtime show.
I can't do movies in the afternoon. I just can't. Manatees. I can't do manatees.
Every time I see that word, I do think it says manatee.
I can't do daytime manatees.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's weird for me.
Yeah, I'll go at night.
So
But then
anyway,
if you go nighttime, then you're gonna be like, yo, bro, we gotta wake up and do the show tomorrow. You're gonna be a bitch.
there's only 2 things that are nighttime events for this guy. That's sexy time and movies.
See, I feel like
Can't
you
do
can watch a
movies
movie
every day.
and have sexy time in the day.
Nah, I can't. I'm allergic to it.
Let me read some 80s movies. You tell me if they were in the Covino family household VHS rotation. Because I remember, in fact, I won't get it because there's no, who cares? But literally in the next room, the guest bedroom, in the closet, I have a little bin of VHS tapes. I kept a few just for nostalgia. You know me, I get rid of a lot of stuff, but I kept a few. And one of them is Major League and Naked Gun. And I have a few that were just so big in my household. Goonies. All right, what about Big?
Huge. Great movie.
Do you remember that?
One of the best.
I just picture my dad's handwriting on all of them, like my dad's meticulous handwriting on the VHS label.
Oh, Charlene, walking down the street 10 times a week. I said it, I read it, I broke my mama's credit.
Spaceballs.
I'm cool, I'm hot.
Was that in the family rotation?
Oh, I fucking love Spaceballs.
Down, down, baby.
I'll tell you one that was in your rotation. I bet. Did you guys have Pee-wee's Big Adventure on VHS?
Yes.
Oh, how did I forget
I'll
this?
say.
How did I forget this?
Big Top Pee-wee.
One of the most abused VHS tapes in the Dickie Doo house because of my dad. Oh, Chevy Chase, the Vacation movies.
Never
Vacation.
became my family.
Oh, Vacation.
My dad
Wally
did
World.
watch Caddyshack over and over again, though.
Uncle Buck, Adventures in Babysitting. Yeah, we had all these on VHS.
Mauser's right. La Bamba was a big one in the Covino household. Great
Teen Wolf.
movie. Teen Wolf. It's just, those are movies I saw on cable. I don't think you had cable.
No, we had VHS tapes. My parents had everything.
I saw a lot of these movies over and over again. Like, I made this random reference the other day. Biggie DeLine knows what I'm talking about. There was a movie called Heavenly Kid. HBO played that a million times as a kid. So I watched it a million times. HBO always played Christine. What's that other like rock and roll movie? Eddie and the Cruisers. HBO played like lots of things over and over again. So I would see things over and over again.
You know, my parents had a deal with, it's odd because I told you my dad, he'll be like, oh, I guess, I don't know why, because my dad's such a relevant TV guy now. Like my dad's like, oh, I'm caught up on Saul and I'm watching, like my dad watches every new show the way you or I would. He watches more than I do because he's retired. Like, oh, Richie, how are you not caught up on, and he'll name some new Netflix or Amazon show. I'm like, because I'm busy, Dad. Oh, let me know when you're caught up on, Nelly and I already finished Stranger Things. With how? You know, like my dad watches.
It's good.
He watches
it's dark
everything.
though. You remember we said they spent $30 million an episode?
You could tell?
It's not that you could tell, but it's good. So whatever they did to make it good, it's working.
Greg he watches everything. But as you know, we didn't have cable as a kid. My dad was like, no can do to cable for some reason. I don't know why.
You missed out on the Heavenly Kid, right, Lonnie?
Of all the things,
still holds up. I saw it recently.
Of all the things my dad did spend money on, we did not have cable TV. But for some weird reason, I feel like they were pals with the guy at the video store. I feel like my dad, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone else's family did this.
Like Blockbuster?
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, this is like,
did you have Palmer Video?
No, but this is like Hollywood USA.
Yeah, it was like
not Hollywood Video, the chain. It was called
dudes.
Hollywood USA.
Yeah.
And we would go to Hollywood USA. And I'm pretty sure, because this is how we got the WrestleManias, the SummerSlams, all these movies. I think my dad would be like, here's $10 or $5. He'd give the guy at the video store a few bucks, I think. And they, maybe at that time, the version of burning a tape, like, because we would get like almost like bootleg versions of things. And that's how, like, hey, how did you have that movie? I don't know, because it wasn't the official box. It was like a VHS tape, but it had movies on it.
Yeah.
So my dad was probably just giving the guy a couple bucks at the video store, like, hey, put like 5 good movies on this VHS tape.
I'll tell you what.
I don't know if that was a scheme back in the day.
There was no bigger thrill for me as a kid. Way back on a Wednesday, a little nostalgic conversation, because honestly, that's why I think people are loving this Top Gun movie so much. Because it's good. I'm not denying that it's not great, and the fight and flight scenes are great, but it's nostalgia. And it's just hitting you in all the right places. And you're like, oh man, and Tom Cruise is still great. No, the movie's still great. And it's just as great as it was when I loved it when I was little. It's better, bro. It's better. Makes you feel good. Tom Cruise still has it, man. He's 60. I got another 15 years of awesome. Fuck yeah. Anyway, nothing gave me a bigger thrill as a kid.
Yeah.
We didn't have Disney cartoons accessible. We just didn't.
Yeah.
And this is even pre-Disney Channel, which I had, and that was a thrill in itself.
Right?
Yeah, when Disney Channel came out, because you missed out on cable. Yeah. But when my parents got Disney Channel, I'm like, oh, this is fucking great. What is this, Pooh's Corner? I'm going to watch this all day. And I was like old, I think. I loved it.
I love Pooh's Corner.
I love Dumbo's Circus, man. I was like 15. I was like, this is the greatest shit ever. I waited my whole life for this.
Is that what you call the little area where your Toto toilet is now?
Pooh's Corner, yeah. So anyway, what we used to do, and I say this because people are like, really? They did that? And I'm like, yeah. I would want to see, I had such a hankering for Disney cartoons. We didn't have a VCR. So it must have been what, like 9, 8, 9? I don't know. No, because I had a little sister at the time. So maybe 10. We still didn't have a VCR yet. My dad would rent a VCR from one of those local places. He would rent the VCR. We'd have it for like a weekend.
I've heard people say that.
And we would rent like all these Disney cartoons. The only way I had access to that shit.
I never knew that.
I would be like, that was like my most joyous moment ever.
I don't remember that
I
even
wish
being an
I could
option.
figure out what that feeling today is for a kid, because that shit
Probably
meant
getting,
the world to me.
probably when mom or dad's like, here's some more Roblox dollars, some Robux.
I don't think it matches the excitement level I had to be able to watch all these Disney cartoons that we didn't have. See, again, kids today are so jaded. They have everything at their fingertips, right? That nothing's that special to them. For me to watch a Disney cartoon, like a regular, like Mickey Mouse, like a regular Donald Duck, who gets stuck with all the bad luck, like that shit was so dope for me.
You're not going to do your Donald impression when it's your best one?
No, I can't do it anymore. I retired it.
Jesus.
Renting VCRs was so 1982.
That's how I don't know.
That's what we were doing.
Because it was before, my family bought our house on Long Island in like 85, I think, 84, 85. Never rented a VCR because by then I think the early 80s, we didn't even watch on a VCR. So I'd imagine, because when people say renting a VCR, that to me sounds like I've never even heard of such a thing.
VH players used to be like $1,000 back in the day.
So I guess my family waited till it was.
So the local place that your Hollywood USA,
Yeah.
they would rent not only the VHS tapes but VCRs to people, and I would beg my mom and dad, please, can we rent the VCR so I could watch these Disney cartoons?
I remember going.
So all we
to,
had was Saturday morning. We didn't have cartoons. Endless cartoons all day.
I remember going to my dad's aunt's house on Christmas every year. And since we didn't have cable, and by the way, Cello Fellow, I believe, points out that I bring it up a bit over the years.
What's up, Cello Fellow?
Yeah, there's always people that may have missed the story, but me not having cable TV explains how I miss some of the things Covino talks about. So it's a relevant fact. Like
MTV is
like
the biggest obvious one.
Like to me, MTV and missing some of that stuff, it's very clear. So the explanation of I didn't have cable when I was very young is the 100% reason for a lot of those missing points. Now, I never had one of these, but I remember my aunt had some type of box with a wire attached to it where each little notch had like 3 different channels, like some type of old school cable box. Do you remember this?
I had it my whole life.
Like it was like
there was a lever on the left.
A lever.
And it was for the top, middle and bottom.
Yeah,
and
then
it had all the buttons.
Yeah.
And to access like a Playboy channel, you had to hit like 3 buttons at the same time.
I remember doing
Get some
that.
scrambled tatty.
Once or twice a year, I would fiddle around with this thing and be like, oh my God, they're from my aunts from the future. That shit, I was fascinated by it. We never had it.
This is the aunt that had the answering machine?
No, different aunt.
Oh. Because she peaked in the 80s.
She peaked in the 80s,
She
yeah.
peaked in the 80s.
Aunt Linda, that's it. 87, she just retired
She's
technology.
still using that same device.
I think they were called Gerald boxes, but we had those cable boxes always, yeah. There was 2 versions of them I remember we had. Again, Rich is talking about, there was a wire going from your TV, and you actually had to press the buttons. We had that too. That was before the cable remote.
Yes, a good question though. What gives a kid a thrill these days? I'm sure different things. I'm sure when video games are released, it's still important. Like look at when a new iPhone comes out. Like there's things that get people excited. But you're right. The
Melody talking about going on the rides this weekend at the LA County Fair is the closest to that sort of excitement that I've seen. You know, because everything else is so like, especially even Disneyland, unfortunately, because this right here in our backyard in California doesn't have that mystique about it, you know, that it had for me as a kid. Like, oh my God, we're going where? You know? So if you could find whatever it is for today's kid, like maybe taking them to some sort of like influencer convention or something because they're meeting these people they watch on YouTube all the time, like that might be a thrill. I don't know what it is, but for me, it was simply being able to watch these things on VHS because that shit was crazy for me at the time.
I'm
it was
just
such a treat.
I'm just thinking though that you don't want to be the guy. I mean, then again, you might say, who gives a shit? I just don't feel like you don't want to be the guy that doesn't see this movie during the time when it's the hottest movie. It's almost like being in on something. Like you don't want to watch. It's like, Spot points this out once in a while. Sometimes someone will bring up a show they're watching that we all watched like a decade ago.
It was like our new friend Tanya talking about Breaking Bad.
Can you believe what Walter White did? Yeah, Tanya, I do. 10 years ago.
I kind of forgot actually because it's been so long.
No, but
I
I feel like if you want to see Top Gun in the theater, we got to do it like this week. You don't want to be like 2 years from now, be like, yo, guess what I watched on Hulu last night? Like, I think now's the time.
Well, I got all weekend. Jordan's going to a wedding, so.
So you want to go Sunday before our Fox show, like a little lunchtime? See, you don't do lunchtime after the show, like in
daytime.
But then nighttime. All right, we're done with Fox at 8. And if I said Covino, there's like an 8:30 show, and you'd be like, yo, bro, that's late. I feel like you would complain about any time.
Why are you not going to the wedding?
I don't know, to be honest.
You weren't invited. Wait, whoa, time out. Thank you, Spot.
How did you miss that?
Because they do so many things separate. That's not a knock. I just feel like Jordan and Covino have their very separate lives like that.
This is a wedding.
It is a wedding. Like who?
I think it was a matter of Jordan didn't know if I'd be able to go with Melody. You know what I mean? Because I have Melody on Friday. Too much planning involved. So
she just didn't invite you at all?
I was thinking about that today. I'm like, why am I not going again?
If you wanted to play it up, you could play the role of like very insulted guy.
No, it's like sometimes things are difficult to plan.
Sarah's like, I'm going to a wedding without you.
Does
I'm
it
bound to
involve
be
travel?
Yeah. I'm bound to being a parent all the time, which means I have responsibilities on Friday and Monday, always. I always have to pick up or bring Melody to school Friday or Monday, always. I don't have her this weekend, but I'm always bound to that, and it's hard to make those arrangements, so. No. Just another friend. And maybe she might not have had a +1.
No, that's impossible. You don't have it not +1.
Or
I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's not the answer. So it's probably just a travel.
I mean, it could be the answer.
But you don't.
No,
she's taking her sister.
Hey, Spot.
She's taking her sister.
when someone's dating for more than
Hey, Spot.
3 months.
You want to go to this event with me? You can't bring Kristen. You've been living with Jordan for years.
Yeah,
It's not like you're some new dude. You weren't invited. You were probably invited, and you probably were like non-committal or like something with planning. But it is odd to go to a wedding without your spouse. That's like a weird feeling because you're there and you're like, remember do you remember I went to my brother-in-law's wedding Spot and I sat at the mutant table? You remember that old story?
I don't get it. Where else would you sit?
It's funny. I sat at a table where it was like, hey, random coworker, neighbor with no spouse, like you end up at the mutant table. So yeah, it is odd that you're not going. But hey, do you want to go?
It's no big deal to me. We had another wedding. Here's the thing. I got so many things going on that it gets confusing. And I think her sister is going to be her +1 because the sister is also friends with the friend. It's one of her hometown friends.
But then
wouldn't she be invited then too?
Separately?
No. She wasn't invited separately. I think Jordan's just didn't take her as the +1. But there's another... I don't know what you're rolling your eyes about.
I'm not rolling my eyes. I'm like,
oh, what's that face about?
It's like you're not going to. It's like if Sarah went to a wedding and I wasn't going.
It's
an odd, peculiar thing.
It just seems off to me.
Yeah, because you guys don't live my life. Meaning, I just told you that a lot of times it's hard to plan anything.
Well,
because I have responsibilities.
You got to save the date and the wedding invite. Probably not this week.
You would have talked about it. You would have said.
But that doesn't relinquish me of my responsibilities of having to be here to deal with my child. You know what I mean? Like sometimes traveling is difficult. Like you guys never factor that into my equation. It's not like I have a
cooperative
person
ex-wife
that cooperates with me. I'm like, hey, look, I got to go away. You cool with that? Like, no.
If you told your ex-wife I'm going to a wedding,
I don't want to help either.
Yeah,
because
if you told your ex-wife I have a wedding to go to out of town,
I'm not saying it's impossible.
She'd say,
but
no, you're not going.
No, because then it's like an OU one. You know what I mean? Like,
so you skip the wedding.
I'm not saying it's impossible by any means. Because it's very possible, but it's like, it's not like an easy thing to do or a convenient thing to do. But
all right, well, that's irrelevant. Will you go to Top Gun early or late?
I don't like going to early movies.
Oh, so you'll go Sunday night.
Coming out like fucking it's all bright out.
I sort of like that feeling. Like, I just saw a cool movie. It's still bright out. Oh.
Anyway, this actually leads me to something that's really on my mind.
Sunday
hardcore.
night. Do you want to buy tickets? I'll book them today.
After Fox?
After Fox. We're done at 8:00. We'll go across the street to the Galleria. We'll book our seats ahead of time. Fucking do it. Spot, you in?
I'll let you know.
Cubs fan says, I act like I'm the only single father. No, I'm being forced to explain the obvious. Cubs fan, you douchebag. If these guys are playing dumb like they don't know, I have to explain it. When they know damn well I get no cooperation whatsoever.
Sundays.
So let me ask you, Cubs fan, who's going to pick up my child from school on Friday and Monday? And then Tuesday, because I don't think Jordan's coming right back. You think like people are just volunteering to help me? That's not how it is. But they force me to explain these things even though they know the answer. So what do you want me to do? How do I explain
What do you
that?
want him to do?
No, but how do I explain that when they're forcing me to explain it? When they already know the answer. Hey, dude, you know that no one helps me or cooperates. Why would you make me explain it to everybody? Because you want me to? Like, you know that. So it's not a woe is me. It's all good. I don't even care. I hope Jordan has a great time. What difference does it make to me? It's not even the point of the story. So my point was, she's not even around this weekend. I can go see Top Gun this weekend.
Sunday night.
But
Sunday night.
I don't know. Sunday night sounds like ass to me. But anyway.
All right, Sunday.
I don't know.
Sounds like ass too.
But
day or night. Come on, Kid Cudi.
Who cares? Get this. Summertime is here. It's unofficially begun. And things start to unfurl. People start making plans for you. Top Gun, weddings. We're going to fucking vacation. So my Uncle Joe, who's been a big influence in my life for a long time.
Of course.
Like a big brother for me.
If you don't know the influence that Uncle Joe had on Covino, then you ain't listening. Because for the last 15 plus years, everything from Squeeze and Cheap Trick to fucking leather jackets and gold chains and fucking what's cool and boxing and everything. Uncle Joe is the number one influence if I had to think back to your childhood, probably.
Yeah, I have to probably combat the maniacal ways of Uncle Joe because I'm like, yeah, he's great, but I don't want to be like that.
Oh, but
I want his good qualities, but not his bad
your
qualities.
20s,
he's a maniac.
Your 20s replicated his womanizing ways
Maybe.
over his. Yeah,
Uncle Joe is crazy, but he's like one of the most talented, charismatic guys you'll ever meet, right? So, but he's out of his mind. Anyway, Uncle Joe retired. And he's like, babe, you got to come to my retirement party. I'm like, when is it? June 25th. I'm like, June 25th? Now, again, I have to over-explain. I don't know if that's my week. Melody's out of school. I don't know how the schedule works, and neither does Layla. We haven't figured it out yet. Meaning, when school ends, well, who has Melody the first week? Because now it's week to week. We haven't figured that out yet.
Oh, that's when you bring in the moderator to do the coin toss, right?
Everything's a hassle, right? So,
and tails, Covino, week 1.
So yeah, I mean, we always have her every other weekend now, but who has her week to week? So Joe asks me to come to his retirement party. He's done being an officer. He did his time. He's like, it'd mean a lot if you made it.
Did he say, I'm getting too old for this shit?
That's June 25th, right?
Not a Lethal Weapon fan?
My dad, I'm not actually. Then my dad.
Too old for this shit.
My dad has a brother who's very special to me too.
By the way, you know how old Danny Glover was when he said, I'm getting too old for this shit?
It's like 40.
Like 40 something.
Well,
I think that's when cops retire.
No, in the movie, he was celebrating his 50th birthday. Remember when he's in the tub at the beginning of the movie?
Oh, okay. It was 50 then.
So
okay.
he was celebrating his 50th birthday.
Oh, man.
And in the cop world, that's retirement age.
It's so old in the cop world. It makes no sense to me. I have friends that are retiring from the military and the police department and the fire department in their 40s. And they're like, I'm retired. I'm like, retired? What the fuck are you going to do for the next 50 years of your life if, God willing, you live to 90?
Jordan said she had to RSVP to the wedding months ago. And she knew that I wouldn't have my schedule planned out, which I still don't.
Okay.
With Layla at the time. My schedule never stays the same with Layla. And she sometimes tricks me in an inability to swap out weekends. So she didn't know what to do, so she had an RSVP. So she's going with her sister.
Oh, I wasn't blaming Jordan.
So anyway,
trickaroo.
So she's listening and responded.
It's your week. Psych, trickaroo.
So this is a
God.
No, you know what it is? It's
I have it next week. Yeah, sure.
No, it's a.
You sure?
You know the Rich Davis move
kidding.
of like he'll try to make things seem like it benefits you when he really just needs the favor, and it's like, dude, just I'll do you a favor. Stop trying to like.
No, it'd be really cool. You would love
Stop
helping
trying
me
to present
paint
it like this is gonna benefit me somehow.
You would love helping me paint this back room.
Yeah, we want to paint. We'll watch Top Gun and I'll pizza on me. Like, dude, just like if you want help, just ask me for the help. Just don't make it like you're sugarcoating it because it's gonna be great for me. She'll bamboozle me sometimes to, at least according to Jordan. I see through these things, but Jordan thinks that she bamboozles me to volunteer to things that don't benefit me. They benefit her. It always appears that way, right? I don't agree. It has happened, but I'm aware of what's going on. I just don't care. So either way, this is a John Quinones, What Would You Do? June 25th, uncle retirement party, right? And all of my mother's side of the family, which I haven't seen in years, is going to be there. You got to keep in mind, guys, I've been removed from my life and family for 12 years now. I don't think anyone gives a fuck about that. I mean, my family knows, but does anyone really think about that?
I do.
Ever? No one cares.
I do. I think about
that
you.
I'm like a lonely guy, and that's the truth.
I think about you in that way because I had like a sad thought last night. I don't want to hijack your story, but I'll write it down for later because I had a really sad thought last night, and it sort of has to do with being removed.
Like, I'll look at my daughter sometimes. Sad. Like, you realize I'm here for you? Like, my whole life is diverted because of, I don't want to say a mistake I made, but like, you know, something that happened in my life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think anyone cares or thinks about that. Yeah, this is my family I haven't seen in years.
Yeah.
So they're all going to Uncle Joe's retirement party on June 25th.
Something that if in your old life, you'd automatically be there.
Yeah, of course. And, you know, my Uncle Joe wants me there, right? On August 9th, which is also my birthday, my Uncle Tommy, who's never asked me for shit in my life. That's my dad's brother.
Yeah.
The other Tommy. There's two Steve and Toms. There's generations of Steves and Toms in my family. My dad's brother, Tom, said, Steve, it would really mean a lot if you came to my 70th birthday celebration. I'm like, that's August 9th. And I'm like, my birthday? I want to go see Rage Against the Machine with Handsome Gabe. What about what Steve wants?
Are you doing that?
How could I? It's Uncle Tom's. Now, hold on.
I'm doing the math.
Uncle Tom is the most uncelebrated person in my family, and he's the nicest dude. Okay? No one... How many times have you heard me mention my Uncle Tom in 16 years? Not a lot. You know why? Because no one appreciates him, but he's the greatest guy. I appreciate him. I do. So I'm like, hey, man, my Uncle Tom, fuck. If I don't go to his 70th, I'm going to feel like shit. Because no one's here forever. And you know who's going to be at that party? All of my dad's side, who I haven't seen in fucking 15 years.
Well,
right? Who were all there. And all these people were great to me as a kid. I was the most special, beloved kid on both sides of the family. So that's August 9th. Now get this. It gets even more confusing. Uncle Joe's party's June 25th. Uncle Tom's birthday is August 9th. It's a lot of flying. It's a lot of flights. That's a lot of money.
Well, hold
They're
on.
already like 800 round trips.
I have a thought.
Now,
So
hold on.
Continue.
June 24th, the day before Uncle Joe's retirement party, Jordan has a wedding that she wants me to go to.
Oh.
So June 24th, a wedding.
Where's the wedding?
Here.
Okay.
Okay.
So June 24th, I think.
Make sure of that because I have a plan for you.
But either way, June 24th, wedding.
Uh-huh.
June 25th, Uncle Joe. August 9th, Uncle Tom. Again, separate sides of the family. Like for Jordan, she's like, you're a fool. None of these people come to see you. but you have all this guilt. Even my dad's like, why you got all this guilt? I'm like, because I don't see anybody. These are people that mean something to me. And then, it's a very simple answer for people who don't care because they're not me. Jordan's like, why don't you go and see both your uncles? Why do you have to make 2 trips? I'm like, because they're separate sides of the family and they live 6 hours apart. She's like, so? I'm like,
have a thought.
That's just not how what I'm doing.
I have a thought.
I haven't seen this side of the family. I haven't seen that side of the family.
I learned something new. I learned this from my wife. Do you want me to just? I'm gonna spot this as part of my empathy learning.
There is no right answer.
No. Do you want?
But it's like
no. Listen,
what a headache.
What's this empathy journey you're on?
Well, I want to not so much empathy. I want to learn what women want. Right.
The wedding on the 24th is in San Diego.
Watch the movie with Mel Gibson.
No. So I want to ask you the question that my wife, but that I would ask my wife. Do you want me to just listen, or do you want me to help you come up with a solution?
Oh no, because part of the equation is
say, do you want me to listen? Do you want me to just listen?
Where's Melody?
So empathetic.
Do you want me?
Is she traveling with me?
Do you want me to just listen, or do you want a solution?
There is no solution.
Okay, so you just want me to listen. Oh man, bummer, babe.
That sucks.
I get you back no matter what, honey. Oh, do I have to?
Whatever you choose.
I understand. We all go through a lot of stuff, but whatever you need, I'm here to listen. I'm here to help because I love you.
No one could give me advice that's going to help because they don't know how I feel about these people in my life. Who's my Uncle Tom to you? Nobody. So, hey, why am I going to go all the way out of my way to see this guy who's never once came to see me and I've been out here 12 years?
All right.
Well, you don't know what he means to me and you don't know how I feel about it. Or like it'd be very typical for Hollywood Steve to not show up to his Uncle Tom's 70th birthday.
Hollywood Steve, the reputation that everyone on the East Coast probably thinks because you're out here.
Hollywood Steve has even more pressure to be like, no, you mean something to me. You're not going to be alive forever. I do want to go. And plus, I haven't seen anyone on my dad's side in years.
You don't have to go to Hollywood to get a Hollywood Steve.
If they mean so much,
coming to you.
How come you haven't seen him in years? Plus, you got to factor in.
Such a fucking inside reference.
My kid is part of the travel and part of the equation. I don't know where she's going to be, if she's with me on those days. I have a wedding. These things just make my head spin, and they're a nightmare. And there is no right answer. Because I can tell you, like I said, people will be like, just go and make a one trip. How do you do? It's like, yeah, but then I'm missing out on seeing my family.
Do you want...
So what? And like, well, yeah, so what? Because they don't mean anything to you now because they're not your family. They're my family.
Now, I've changed my mind, Rich. Please tell me what to do. I want a solution. Tell me what to do.
But I'll just listen if you want because that's what Sarah always says.
No, I want you to tell me what to do. Please. I need a solution.
Oh, man. Are you sure, Sarah? I mean, Covino. Now, I think this guy, Mario, who is the unsung hero, uncle, best pal of your dad of the family, right?
Talking about, bro. Uncle Mario died.
Not Uncle Mario. Who's the other guy? Who's the other guy? Oh, who's
his brother?
Oh, what's that? Who's that?
My Uncle Tom.
Be there,
Uncle Tom
means nothing to you.
Okay, no. Uncle Tom.
He's my uncle, my dad's brother.
Yeah.
We share a birthday.
Okay.
August 9th.
So
that's why my dad, till this day, says, should have named you Tommy. Meaning like I'm a disappointment, but he's joking. Should have named you Tommy. Because I was born on his brother's birthday.
Yeah. So if you look at the dates, Melody...
You ever had a date shake?
We could follow along with the Melody journey in just a second.
The point is, you can't please everyone. You're not a taco. You can't be everywhere all the time. But you could make a valiant effort. But you know what? It's a lot of money, guys.
Doesn't matter.
I can definitely please two people at the same time.
It says the guy who has benefits. Says the guy that has a full-time job. Says the guy that's making Patreon. Says the guy that it doesn't matter to. It matters to me.
Well, I'm looking at the numbers.
I don't have benefits. I pay extra for all that.
All right, well, look at the calendar.
I don't have a full-time job.
Look at the calendar. If you leave on the 24th after the wedding from San Diego, or say Jordan, sorry, can't make it. Some things take precedence.
Yeah, but that's fucked up too.
Why? Isn't he not going to this wedding? What is it? Like you can't say this wedding doesn't matter. She's doing her own thing and having fun. But then when something else comes up, can't pick and choose. So let's say you leave on the 24th and you come back on July 10th. That's a 2-week trip. Now, either you bring Melody with you for 2 weeks, or you get a week of coverage.
It's June 25th and August 9th.
June. Oh. June
25th
I was doing
Uncle
June.
Joe's. August 9th
I was doing June 25th and July 9th, and I'm like, well, that's a 2-week trip, but you could manage it.
And I was trying to take Melody back to New Jersey for at least a 1-week span in between there.
You got to go to both. You got to go to both.
I mean, that's how I feel. My dad'll be the first to tell me too, like, fuck that. You don't need to do shit. They ever come to see you? I'm no better, but at least I came a few times. They ever see you? And then I have, Jordan saying the same shit, and that is true. Who cares about Steve?
You know what?
Everyone says they care about Steve, but where's all the care about Steve?
I'll be honest. After watching,
been fucking drowning by himself for the past 15 years.
After watching fictional stuff and real stuff, This Is Us, Norm Macdonald's last special. After just like and
This Is Gus.
And This Is Gus. Oh, this fucking the episode where they come up with the special ingredient for the sauce.
The truth is, I don't expect older relatives to come see me. That's the truth. Uncle Tom's 70. I expect that dude who never went out of New York State, really, never left the tri-state area in his life.
Wait, his vacations were probably like the Poconos.
Yeah, and people don't understand that. Like if I'm talking to Jordan, who's a young person, I'm just using her as the example here, right? Because, how in the world would she understand like what my Uncle Tom means to me? She's never seen him
because of the circumstances.
He lives upstate, middle of nowhere, New York.
Because he
never traveled anywhere in his life.
That's
like Pee Wee Herman. He never left the tri-state area, which is a lot of our relatives, right or wrong.
No, right.
That's people we grew up with.
I'm gonna say that's
most
the
people don't get that.
He's a nobody from nowhere.
That's
so I've never expected people to come visit me.
That's the bummer of dating someone later in life.
They don't get that
because while they love you and they could be a great partner, they'll never really understand
ever
how much someone meant to you. In fact, Jordan, you've been with her, almost 5 years? She's only met your immediate family like twice.
3 times.
Yeah, 3 times. So it's like, how could she expect...
Never met my sister Dawn, because Dawn's in Germany. Never met my Uncle Tommy, because every time my Uncle Tom came to visit, it was a time she wasn't there.
How about this? How about you just say, fuck it, and you get $2,000 worth of plane tickets, and you do both weekend trips, and you do it just because at the end of the day, all right, let's say, God forbid, please, knock on wood.
Life is short, buddy.
Knock on wood. Let's say you don't make the trip, and then in a year from now or so, someone gets sick and that you lose someone. Are you going to be like, at that point, you'd say, man, I really wish I would have spent the overpriced $800 airline ticket to see Uncle Who or Aunt Who one last time. And these special moments come and go. As Milo Ventimiglia said on This Is Us.
Precious moments.
Jack said.
Bro, you're preaching to the choir.
We are.
You're preaching to the choir,
what we're doing.
It appears like I'm wasting my money,
at this stage,
and you look like a fool a little bit.
At this stage of your life.
All you are is dust in the wind.
At this stage of your life, all you're doing is collecting memories. You're collecting memories. So at this stage of your life, you're collecting memories. You're looking back at great memories you had, and you're collecting memories now, wanting things to just not move so fast. And life is moving fast, right?
Jordan feels and I agree. Like the wedding in San Diego is much more important.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop.
She's like, Joe's been retired for 2 years. So she's like, I don't get it. So she don't get that either.
Yeah, but Joe meant a lot to you.
He's been retired. Yeah, and it means a lot to him.
Who's getting married? Who's getting married in San Diego?
Well, then how come he's never come to visit?
Who's getting married in San Diego?
One of her friends.
You even know who it is?
Yeah, one of her girlfriends.
Okay. But like someone that you'd be like, yo, it's more important to you than Uncle Joe?
It's important to Jordan. Just like Uncle Tom or Uncle Joe. Like, that's important to her.
So you go to San Diego. Go to the wedding.
And take the red eye or the
San Diego's airports.
Yeah. Okay, I had a nice week where I could have had a nice weekend.
Then take a nice weekend with Jordan in San Diego and tell your family to fuck off then.
That's what I'm saying. There's no right answer.
No, the right answer is to go see your family.
By the way, San Diego's only 3 hours away.
You can go there next week.
Any weekend.
Yeah, San Diego's a 2.5, 3 hour flight.
Our buddy Tony in San Diego will put you up in his house.
Well, like I said,
I don't know if I'd stay with Tony. He'd want to swing with you in the middle of the night.
But you're also spending like my money freely.
But what is money when you're dead?
I mean, dude,
you don't have $12 in your bank account.
As my wife always says, you don't see a Brinks truck following a hearse.
I don't think she made that up, but it's a good one.
It is a good one. Well, she says it. I'm just saying.
No, I know.
But no, it's she always says that. But like, yeah, it's like.
Yeah, I'm not saying be wasteful, but Covino, you're not some guy. People like save money for an airline ticket.
You could buy a ticket forth, man. It's a lot of back and forth.
You did it. You know what? You did it for your ex-wife every weekend for years. You can't do it 2 weekends for your.
I don't. And I put myself in terrible debt because of that. Like terrible debt. Again, another thing that I don't think people ever realize.
You did an extra Memorial Day show for Fox, right? There's an airline ticket. Start compartmentalizing. It's like when people.
Rich may be right, but he's preaching to the choir. I feel this pressure, and
if you don't go see your family both,
thing to do.
If you don't go see your family both
this is
times,
what I say, but I get
to the East Coast. Think of how much money.
if you don't see your family both of these times, I feel like it's the wrong move.
my magic shoes.
I feel like it's the wrong move.
Even with the price of everything tanking.
But again, you don't know. I don't know if I have
Coast.
my kid or not. You know, I don't know these things. I haven't
Worry
figured
about that later.
Yeah, like part of me regrets that I didn't go. My sister graduated. She got her nursing degree or something, like a next level nursing degree. Part of me regrets that I didn't go back to celebrate with her.
The only right answer here is go see your family both times.
That feeling of guilt is always there no matter what.
The right answer is to see your family both times. Don't say there's no right answer. That's the right answer. Covino, your life, like I said, to quote.
Try explaining that to people who don't,
You're collecting memories. What do we do in life? We look back at
take a train. What are you out of your mind?
We look back at.
Someone said Chris said take a train. Take a train.
They're just as expensive, aren't they?
I'm trying to make this a quick experience.
I want you to just think about.
Maybe he meant to San Diego.
You know how the joke my buddy always tells me is like you're never gonna be like $100 short of your dream home.
Yeah.
Is your life and your investments and everything going to depend on you buying an overpriced plane ticket to go see people that you really care about? Money doesn't matter as much when you have some, and you have some. You're not broke. There's people that live week to week. Do
you have a credit card that has points that you can cash in?
You've been cashing your points because you haven't done much travel. I'd imagine your points are added up. Like I realized that because I had not traveled much in 2 years, I had like $1,000 in flight points.
I booked my half my trip to Bora Bora with points.
I could promise you, I did not want to spend the money I spent visiting New York at the end of this summer. I'm going to be in New York for a week at the end of July. If you think that my whole trip, if you think I wanted to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on plane tickets and rental car and all that, do you think I want to do that? No, but it's the right thing, and you live once. And what are you going to do? Be like, hey, I wish I would have saw my Uncle Hank one last time, but I didn't want to waste a few hundo.
Here's the thing.
Come on.
If I went, let's say, in August, and I saw my Uncle Tom and that side of the family, yeah, I'd see Uncle Joe because he lives in the same town as my parents.
Yeah, but you wouldn't see the rest of the
family.
family.
I wouldn't see my mom's side of the family.
Then why not go both? What is your hesitancy? Take away Melody because you could either take her because
it's not just easy. It's not easy. No, it is. And it's expensive, dude. Like, what am I, a fool? That's the thing. Is like, why am I the fool that has to be fucking running around like this all the time?
Then what's more important, money or your family?
It's not about importance. It's about being smart sometimes. So you're trying to factor out all the things.
What's more important?
That's a lot.
What's more important? Seeing extended family you see.
Yeah, but you're acting like money's disposable. You haven't been where I've been. Understand where I'm coming from?
I know, but I think you're a smarter man than you were back when you had a partner that was
like I said. You're preaching to the choir because that's the obvious guilt and feeling I have.
Then
like,
do it.
I
think it's a no-brainer.
In life, you can't be everywhere. You have your own life.
You could try.
Live far away. You could try.
You can try, and you have the option to try. Now, if you told
me, when you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else.
If you told me,
if I say yes to Joe's wedding, I'm saying no to Joe's retirement party. I'm saying no to Jordan's wedding.
I think Jordan will get over it.
Are they on the same day?
Oh, it's a Friday and Saturday. Remember?
Yeah, you could do both.
You could do Reddit. Take the 6 a.m. San Diego flight. The next morning, you'll be in New York by lunchtime. You'll be in Newark by noon. Earlier. You'll land at Newark at 11:30 in the morning.
Is Jordan shaming me for spending on this trip? No. I do whatever I want with my money. It's a good question because you said,
no, it's a good question because you're insinuating that.
I've not insinuated that at all.
No, you're saying people are making you feel away.
That how come no one comes to see me? That's an obvious question.
I mean,
but again, they're old people. I don't expect them to travel.
That's something all of us deal with.
Yeah.
No one ever comes to see me.
It has nothing to do with like my money. It's about like, why don't you go there once and see everybody as opposed to going back and forth? That's the question.
Well, you
want me to go with Jordan in your place? I will.
No.
Spot really brings the dance party vibes, though. He brings the dance.
I just went to a wedding 2 weeks ago. The person that had never met me, whose wedding it was, my wife's coworker, was like, "Your husband really is a party animal, huh?"
Yes. Jules is getting the wrong impression.
I'll be drinking
completely
and dancing the whole night.
Thanks for your feedback, Jules, but like way off. Me, Steve, does whatever he wants with his money. The end. Let me make that very clear.
It's a bummer, and
It's tough.
Rich,
it's
stop-
just the
Rich.
pressures of living far
There you
away.
go, trying to spend other people's money.
Yeah. Hey, my sister Grace can't go. You know, she's like, yeah, I can't fucking do it. Kidding? Like,
yeah, but she's
I
been
just-
back quite a bit, and she sees your family more than you do, right?
No, not at all. Like, no.
Wasn't she
She's
back
like,
recently
tickets
when your
are
whole
way-
family got together except you?
But I was there twice before that. She hadn't seen anybody.
I'm just saying, like, Uncle Joe meant a lot to you growing up,
Yeah.
right?
Still does.
My point is,
You're
you're
based
being
on Uncle Joe.
you're being very responsible with your money, which is admirable. But the reality is, all right, you know what? I'll give you this. A lot of times you look at your bank account.
No, the reality is,
All right.
outside looking in, it does look like no one gives a fuck about Steve. That's the truth. That's how it looks. It's not the truth because I grew up with these people. So they mean a lot to me. Right? So it's just a
know.
lot
I'm
of
not
pressure.
I'm not pressuring you. I just want
Or
to say
guilt.
one thing.
There's a lot of, I
A
don't
lot
want
of
to say
times-
pressure because, you know,
No.
it is what it is.
A lot of times you
There's
look
a lot
at
of
your
guilt involved in that stuff.
a lot of times you look at your account, right? And I'm not saying you're poor, and I'm not saying you're balling. I know what you're saying. You wish you were in a better spot, but you're by no means broke.
No.
But ask yourself this: when you look at the money you've saved, you're like, I got this money here, I got this money here. I mean, you spent some money on some fucking stepping shoes with Spot just the other day. It's not like you don't have money, right? You say, I'm saving that for a rainy day. Well, here's your fucking rainy day. Like, I think of that all the time where it's like, well, what am I saving for? Oh, for that, you know. Like, you save for the big moments in life. And that's something I had a sad thought about the other day that maybe we'll get to another day because I don't know if we can handle all this. But you save for the big moments in life, right? You save for an engagement ring, a wedding. You pay off your college shit. You buy a house. You do your kids. You pay for your kids. You go through all these big moments. What are you really? What's the rainy day? Oh, I'm saving this for a rainy
You're
day.
preaching to the choir.
No, but
It's
if
just-
rainy day,
I
what's
know, like,
rainy
some
day?
people don't value people the way
But if rainy day,
I value people
if
or
rainy
relatives
day,
or things like that, right?
if rainy day, if I'm saving it for a special moment or a rainy day, if this isn't that special moment or rainy day, then I don't know what is.
Well, here's
That's my-
just
that's
to
my
make-
final
to
thought.
Have
If-
it make sense again. I have a wedding on June 24th. Uncle Joe's retirement party. Well, wedding in San Diego, June 24th. Uncle Joe's retirement party, where he's, I really mean a lot if you were there. That's June 25th, the next day. And then August 9th, my Uncle Tom, again, other side of the family, different side of the family. Uncle Tom's 70th on August 9th.
And he wanted you to come?
He asked me personally.
Yeah. So
Dude,
as
and
the
the
fact
guy
that these
is
people
the
ask you
nicest guy.
personally,
It's fucking heartbreaking.
yeah, I
So-
would do it. I would do both.
I mean, I feel like I have to, but you know, it's an interesting dynamic though, because even let's say when I am talking to anybody who doesn't know them, they're like, yeah, it's just go to one. It's like, what don't you get about? There's an entire side of the family I'm going to see at Uncle Joe's, and an entire side of the family I'm going to see at Uncle Tom's. Like there's, I don't know, sometimes there's a disconnect because
Can you have Joe make
because
his,
you don't feel or you don't care because you're not me.
Can you have Uncle Joe move his party to the day before or after Uncle Tom's wedding or Uncle Tom's party?
But even when I talk to my dad, he'll tell you like, fuck that, you don't need to do anything. What do you got all this guilt for? I'm like, I don't know.
Are your parents going?
That's a whole other story.
Wait, what?
That's a whole other story.
No, I got.
I'm not going to air my parents' dirty laundry.
They're not going to either event,
They're going to stop by from Uncle Tom's.
but they're not going to. Oh,
My
because-
parents are going to want to go to Uncle Joe's, obviously. But the relatives that are going to show up for Uncle Joe's, I don't think my family wants to deal with.
Isn't your mom? Is your mom still bumping heads with Uncle Joe?
They bump heads. No, not with Uncle Joe.
Oh,
With like other sides of the family.
Yeah.
Family's fucking weak, dude. I'm telling you. That's the other thing. I'm going to go all the way there to deal with like weak ass
seeing-
fucking.
I'm seeing-
I love your mother. She
I'm-
holds a grudge.
I'm doing San Diego to Newark back to LAX over like a 3-day weekend, and I'm getting like $700, which isn't tremendously terrible considering
bad.
how airline prices have
I
skyrocketed.
mean, look, I'm leaning trying to do everything, but
And
again,
then-
Not bad.
breaking your back to try to please everybody else, right? Like It's like you're a sucker, dude. And that's how I feel about everything in life. Always a fucking sucker, dude. No one fucking does shit for me. That's how I feel about it.
That's how I feel.
I'm the fucking big little bitch in everybody's eyes because I'm the one running around trying to please everybody. Yep. No one gives a fuck about Steve.
And what was the other date, by the way? July what?
No, August 9th.
And you know what it is? It's my own guilt of trying to be a good guy.
August 9th
I'm just honest to God, I try so hard to be a good guy.
August 9th's a Tuesday.
I have to start saying fuck everybody.
August 9th's a Tuesday?
Dude, I don't know.
No, but you just said it's a party. A party's on a Tuesday?
They're having they got a shore house. It's summertime.
Okay,
so old people.
But I was just
retired people.
Chill,
you think party
dude.
on a Friday?
I was just asking.
Tuesday is. I thought Tuesday was like senior day at all the supermarkets.
Yeah, I don't know. But I did want. What did Steve want to do? I wanted to see Rage Against the Machine August 9th on my birthday. But I mean, Uncle Tom's my Uncle Tom.
I was supposed to see Coldplay with Uncle Cave, Handsome Cave, and that didn't work out either.
Yeah. So there you have it. Can't please everyone.
And then I'm seeing 600 for 600 for August. So you're looking at
you try so hard to please everybody, but you're the one feeling like not pleased all the time.
I honestly, I feel that way all the time.
Yeah,
and I don't even.
It's the worst.
And I don't even please people.
And a lot of it comes from feeling like
I feel like I'm
out of sight, out of mind when you're apart.
I feel like no one ever does anything for me. Never.
It's a fair statement.
Like I can't remember the last time someone did something kind for me.
My dad's kind to me.
That's sweet.
My mom. I think Sarah says your mom.
I feel that way too.
Sarah says she's like deep down inside your mom is really grateful for all you do help, and I'm like I certainly hope so because I don't feel that way. My sister and I have a good relationship, but I feel like it's
like if you had
I don't feel like you're right. When was the last time I feel that way? But I feel like a lot of people feel what you just said. When was the last time someone did something for me? I feel like I'm constantly the giver. You feel this way? You feel this way? The giver spot?
I'm a fucking doormat.
Like Franz just did something kind for us as a show. That's professional.
Oh, yeah. Franz designs all of our T-shirts.
Actually, I mean, our listeners,
bono,
our subscribers are the nicest people to us.
Our listeners are so much nicer than the people in my personal life.
Tony Moriello is a corporate lawyer that, I'll say it, he set up our LLC.
He did.
Just for free.
Probably tens of thousands.
Maybe that's
he could have charged
life's
us
blessing and curse. You know what I mean? Like the balance that
Tony Moriello.
We're going to bless you with all this, but
Tony set up our LLC for what he probably would have charged a client since he's a high-powered attorney. He probably would have charged like $500 an hour to do some work for us, but he did it because he likes us. So Tony, see, there you go. You save money on your LLC.
Let me wrap it up by saying this.
Right there, you're much nicer than everyone in my family.
I've been racking my brain about this for months. I only bring it up now because, it's June, and now I have to make a decision, and I'm probably going to try to do a little bit of everything to make everybody happy. I hope it makes me happy in the end because, I'm sick of being an asshole or like a sucker, which is what I feel like half the time.
But then you realize why there's certain people sometimes I understand why my brother's like, fuck everybody. Because it's like, he just doesn't want to deal with anyone. But it's sort of sad though at the same time.
But I was raised I was raised almost like, I don't want to say brainwashed, but like the family's everything. Even though where's your relationship with these people now? I don't know.
Yeah, you and I thought about this.
I'm like, in my brain, but they're family, so I gotta be there, and I don't want to be left out of the family. And that's the other thing you have to factor, guys. I feel so disconnected from everything that made me for almost 15 years now. Yeah. So I deserve to see my aunts before they die. I deserve to see my cousins before they're gone. You know what I mean? So it's like there is a guilt and a pressure to do this, and I only bring it up because hopefully it's relatable.
Of course it
to
is.
Somebody.
Everybody.
I'm not coming here opening up because I want you to feel sorry for me. In fact, I hate that. I'm not here, because I want sympathy. I hate that. I don't ever want people to view me as some little bitch who, can't figure out if he should take a flight. I'm hoping that it's relatable, especially when you're so removed.
He looks like the
guy who lives somewhere else.
He looks like the guy at the crowd at the NBA game you pulled up the other day.
Sure.
Yeah, I never want to be perceived that way by anybody. So I only do this and I come out of my zone just to hopefully relate. And there's an easy answer, which is what Rich is saying. Is it the right answer? I don't know.
Just go. You don't want to have regrets.
Or regrets.
You know what you're gonna do.
Yeah, then again, I roll I'm rolling solo because if it's 800 for me, I'm not paying an extra ticket for Melody or Jordan.
But then that's another time where Jordan just never meets your family. The woman that you may marry
it's
is
another
just
opportunity
never going to meet your family.
And that's what bothers me. All this shit bothers me. All of it bothers me. So when I can't sleep at night, all these things bother me.
You would look good in Michael J. Fox poofy vest.
So there you have it.
But I mean, I didn't even think of that element of it, and that's just next level. Where it's like, well, if you're gonna marry Jordan one day and maybe have a family with her, like, is she ever gonna really meet your family? That's a crazy part of living in all different places. Like,
yeah, it sucks. There's
like,
never
you're my day-to-day partner. You're my day-to-day partner who I love, but you've met like my dad twice. So, like, that's a wild thought, right?
I was not raised where that vibes with me.
Yeah.
And I feel comfortable ever.
You know what?
All of that bothers me.
I had a, if you want to continue the real talk, I had a sad thought yesterday, and it's like, Spot, it's not along the lines of Spot's, what does it all mean? It's a feeling of, like, is life just a list of check marks and you finally get, like, it's like, all right, get married, check. Get the job you like, check. Make some money, check. You get a house, check. Send your kids through school, check. Like, are you just, is life just one big checklist? Or are we just not enjoying it enough?
Be in the moment.
Be.
Maybe you should take a flight.
The moment.
Derek Jeter said something cool, something profound.
Yeah, Jeets.
And he's on social media for the first time ever. That's a story I'll say for the news. But he said something that goes along with your
on social media.
Thought. On social media. He answered this and responded on social media because he's on Instagram now. Oh. Someone asked him, hey, why did you do that documentary? He did like a Tom Brady, Michael Jordan documentary that's coming out.
Yeah.
And he goes, because for the first time, I'm able to reflect and appreciate it.
Yeah.
For the first time in my life. He said this is the first time in his life where he's able to go back and appreciate those moments and actually reflect on his life and what made him because you're too busy living it. You're too busy in it where you could never appreciate it. It's the truth.
It's the game of life. You sit back and you say, not what does it all mean? I don't like the whole what does it all mean because that makes it feel meaningless. But it really is like for instance, I guess watching the Norm thing the other night, I'm like, here's a guy that was on the top of his game, laughing, like Saturday Night Live, stand-up shows, TV shows, everything. He has kids, and he's just gone. And it's like he's gone, and everyone's like, it's a weird feeling to think like he's gone, and then the birds still chirp, and people still go to work.
Life goes on. Oh, here's Jeter's take on why do it now.
This is it.
Impactful work that we've done as a foundation,
but it's
what am I up to? Also, for the first time, I really get a chance to reflect on my career. While I played, it was always what's next, and never got a chance to
checklist
to sit back and I guess enjoy the ride. And 30 plus hours is just me sitting down doing interviews, but on top of it, interviewed 70 plus people for this documentary and getting their perspective on the last 20 plus years. I think people are going to enjoy the insight.
But think about it. A guy who's accomplished so much never took the time to even reflect on his own life and shit until now.
If you go on his Instagram story, it's just that Derek Jeter. He does a Q&A, where you can ask me questions. So he's really answering a lot of cool questions. That's pretty cool.
It's really cool. I'll explain more in the news briefly. But, it is one big checklist sometimes. And it's sad. And you know what? To tie both conversations together, I do feel an immense amount of guilt and pressure because I'm really committed, Rich, to trying to be a good guy. And when you try so hard to be a good guy, when you squeeze the bat so tight, sometimes you strike out. I try so hard to be good.
Got so far.
Be a good guy.
But
in the end, no one fucking appreciates it.
Doesn't really matter.
You're pissing somebody off because you look like a fool when you try so hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's the sad part. No, it's true, man. It's the truth. That's how I feel.
Lincoln Park had it right all along.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's there are parts of you I guess I've recently had this feeling of I'm really happy out here in California in the house with the kids and Emmy being in her school and all the things that are going on. But I'm like, it really is a nice day-to-day life, but a very odd sacrifice to be very far away from everyone that really matters except for a few people. Other than you two guys and like maybe 1 or 2, 3 other people that I've considered like really good friends since I've been out here, everyone that really mattered up until this point is somewhere else.
Yeah.
And whether it's Uncle Joe or your parents or Tudmaster Tommy or Gus or Barry or any of the people that were
but they're all spread out, right? Like everybody's spread out.
Your sister and Barry, but besides, I mean, your family and everyone's for the most part.
Like your family dissipated a little bit. Mine's all in the same place. Yeah.
My family and friends are kind of spread out though.
Yeah.
But still, yeah. I mean, it's an awkward existence.
Yeah.
It's not a comforting existence ever. There's nothing comforting about it. No. There's never a feeling or sense of completion ever. Yeah. You know, because no matter what, like, yeah, my daughter's graduating. Like it's just me and my sister Grace. My nephew is graduating kindergarten this week. Who's going to be there? Who cares? Me?
I thought about that because yesterday we got the letter that Emmy's preschool graduation, which by the way is a Western theme. All the kids have to wear denim pants and white shirts.
You're going to wear your bolo tie?
And I'm going to wear, it's perfect time for me to break out my 20-gallon hat and my bolo. But they're like, no more than 6 people. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'm like, maybe I'll ask Shannon if she wants to go or spotting Kristen or something. See if Cove wants to go. It's right down the block. Like, it would be nice. Wouldn't Emmy love it if like grandma and grandpa and like, Aunt Lori or, but it's the sacrifice.
Wouldn't it be nice?
Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if we're together?
Now, how does that King song go?
But yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. And that's why you make fun of me. But when I would go to New York and I'd be there for a week and a half.
That's not why I make fun of you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No, but you'd make fun of me when you're like, look at Dickie on his fucking tour. And I'd be like, on Monday night, I saw Paul. On Tuesday, I went out for drinks with Nicole and her husband. On Wednesday, I went to the Mets game. On Thursday, I saw Sal and the guys for dinner. On Thursday, I went to Christina's. On Friday, I went to my dad's. I saw my mom on Saturday. And you guys would be like, yo, exhausted and annoying. But my feeling when I would make those big trips, Cove, was if I didn't do that, then when the fuck would I ever see these people? If I went to the East Coast and didn't annoyingly stack my week, then do you just accept that these people aren't in your life anymore? Like if you go to Jersey and don't see someone, then when are you ever going to see them?
I don't know, man.
Like Spot, if you went back to Scotch Plains or Jersey and you did not meet, I don't know, your friend Dana or someone for...
But again, you make choices in life, right? Like you got to take accountability.
I always try and see like Chuck What the Fuck.
Yeah, if you don't see Chuck What the Fuck for a drink in Jersey, then when are you going to see him? And by the way, congrats to Chuck and Katie, right?
Yep.
Expecting. Pretty cool.
Congrats, Chuck. You're going to have a little baby what the fuck.
Right?
Yeah. Baby what the fuck.
Baby's going to come out, what the fuck.
It's a what the fuck. It's a boy.
You're going to have to name him like Buck.
Buck.
Little Buck what the fuck.
Buck. What the fuck.
Buck what the fuck. Hey,
Buck. Hey, little Buck.
Hey, little Buck what the fuck.
Hey, Bucky.
All right. Well, hey, that's the open and honest from the heart, from the corazón, like struggles. But again, like I said, that we all chose for ourselves. That's how life works for a lot of people nowadays. Some people don't care.
Yeah.
I do. Some people like they go to sleep at night and they're like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I care about these things. I don't know why. It's ingrained in me.
That's why you guys
and it sucks.
That's why when you guys bust my balls about it, there's a reason why I'm like, hey, I'm going away with my high school pals, or I'm going here with these buddies, or I'm doing this. Because if I lose those personal connections, I feel like it would really I would be very miserable. I feel like I'd go through something. Like if all of a sudden it was like, yeah, I no longer hang out with these people.
Didn't you say you had a realization recently that your
probably whatever
your circle's dwindling?
Oh yeah, I had a realization that like it's like everyone's in their own lane. And I just said to Sarah last night, I was like, if I didn't have all these personal goals with Covino and career stuff to just keep, like
well, remember, career and to get next level is a sacrifice in itself. If you talk to anybody, it's like the story of Whiplash. You've all seen the Whiplash story, J.K. Simmons and Miles Teller.
Yeah.
The story is about achieving greatness, right? And to achieve greatness, sometimes you have to make sacrifices. And that kid had to sacrifice his relationships with his friends and girlfriends to achieve greatness in the world of drumming. And J.K. Simmons, basically wanted to know, like, are you willing to make that sacrifice?
Are you willing to go the distance?
Are you willing to go the distance? And unfortunately, you want to keep those relationships, but think about what you had to do just to get where you are right now. You had to sacrifice relationships. You absolutely had to, with girlfriends and things like that, because work was your priority.
Yep.
It's very tough, man. It's a tough balance. And I think a sacrifice is part of it. Sometimes you have to be extremely selfish. And I'm good at that, but it does eat at me sometimes. Because I'm a self-centered son of a bitch.
I said to Sarah, I go, if I didn't have my own set of like personal goals where I still feel like there's some cool things Covino and I need to achieve.
Tom Cruise just got his number one.
But I'm saying if it wasn't for my own personal goals that I really still believe in,
it's never too late.
I'm like, what happens if people are just in their own little rut? Do they just say like, well, now it's time to live for my kids, and you just you're done? And the rest of your day is like waiting for retirement and you're living for your kids? Is that sort of the general consensus? Like if you're working at the factory and you're like, well, I got married, bought a house, went through my ass getting days, my partying days, and I don't feel like going out anymore. Then you're like, well, I guess I'm just sort of waiting for retirement and I'll watch my kids' Little League game. Is that like just the fucking nature of why everyone's grumpy?
No, because those people could be fulfilled in a different way. Other things don't matter as much to them, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. That's why, like, I'm the guy that's trying to push different groups of people to stick with plans we make. Like, hey, high school crew, we're going on our annual vacation, right? Hey guys, we're doing this annual trip, right? Like
some people are good at blocking out the thoughts in their brain. Where me, the loudest voice in the room is the one in my head. And there's so many times where my kid or Jordan are like, are you even listening to me? And it's like, well, you're not. The thoughts I have are louder than yours. That's all. It's nothing personal.
Don't take it personally.
Yeah. So, I'm picturing like, one of your friends who you're losing contact with.
Yeah.
Going to bed at night and just not giving a fuck, because most guys don't give that much of a fuck. Right? And then there's me, whose thoughts are so loud that I can't keep them quiet. And I'm not talking on behalf of a crazy person. I have voices in my head. I'm saying my thoughts. They're loud. My thoughts are loud.
When people,
and when you're talking, I'm in my own thoughts and I'm hearing me and I'm thinking. So sometimes I'm not hearing anything people are saying.
You're a failure.
On the flip side, Rich, some people don't have any thoughts at all. So they're like, yeah, I'm just living my day to day.
Hey, when you meet,
remember what Norm Macdonald said?
Yeah.
Growing up, people had eight opinions.
Yeah.
And most of it was about food.
You have zero control over your life.
When
no one likes you.
When you meet,
no one does anything for you. You do everything for everyone else.
When you
meet people like me, but there's no proof of that.
When you meet,
you no longer know who you are.
Strangers like me more than people in my real life.
When you
are lost.
When you meet like-minded people, I think that's when you have to put yourself out there and start doing fun things. Like you might meet someone later in life that's like, I like golf too. Hey, you met a new golf buddy. Like Mauser just hit us up. And Mauser, I will take you up on this because I already thought about it. Mauser and Jaime Tavares, two guys we've met through the show that became really good personal friends.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to see the 49ers Dolphins game up in the Bay Area in like December, I think. Like to me, if I don't take that opportunity and say, fuck, I'll be there.
Speaking of then Jaime Mauser, Gabe, and myself are planning a little bourbon trail trip.
See, look at that.
What the fuck? I like bourbon. What do you mean? Probably drink more bourbon than all you idiots.
It's only fit 4 guys in a car.
You bragging about all you're drinking?
Yeah. How do you think I calm those voices?
See, no one likes me. They don't want to include me in anything.
Fuck off.
They want to invite me to weddings. They don't want to take
the
me
world
on trips.
sucks. That's why, Rich.
Yeah.
The world sucks.
I think
Listen
a lot
to
of
me.
people are content with letting things fizzle, and you're not, Rich.
I do not, because I look at people, they let their looks fizzle, they let their energy fizzle, they let their friendships fizzle, and everyone just becomes one fizzled out
version of what they were.
Yeah. And by the way, Kenny, if I'm in the Bay Area at a Niners game, of course I'm seeing you, bro. Kenny Whitman, big 49ers guy. Him and I chat about the Niners. His trailer. What are we going to do without the handsomeness of Jimmy Garoppolo? See, something else that fizzled. It's no more handsome quarterback.
Nothing gold could stay. The Outsiders. Do it for Johnny. Anyway, it's Covino and Rich. So that's our opening up portion of the show.
Spot,
once a month, we're good for a real full disclosure from the heart. There you go. There you have it.
Spot,
Brought to you by D's Nuts.
You ain't kidding about these microphones are very, what do you call it? You have to talk right into them.
It's called a directional mic.
Because there are guys.
Someone in broadcasting for over 20 years should know that.
I mean,
just saying.
Thank you for listening to me.
No. But what I'm saying is.
When did we start with these microphones?
Over a year.
When did I buy these?
A year and a half ago.
A year and a half later.
Yeah. It's a great story.
Thanks.
There's guys doing fucking river dances on the roof, and the mics don't pick it up. It's wild. Like there's a full. I think they're doing the Russian dances you were talking about yesterday.
This is what I imagine your downstairs neighbors always heard.
Oh yeah. I'm a heavy walker, and
you're fucking heavy.
Ben wasn't born yet, though. He runs around like a wild maniac.
Hey, Rich, I'm not saying this to piss you off.
Please do. I don't
But
care.
I have the feeling that Jim has. Jim says Rich is a people pleaser. Quote,
I am.
People pleaser.
That's not a.
We have known this. That's why he enjoys maintaining so many relationships. That's not how I feel in my little conundrum, my pickle that I'm in. I feel like it's not about people pleasing. It's about just, again, doing the right thing. And there's a pressure and a guilt involved in that. It's not about, I want to do this to look like a good guy or please other people. It's just, it feels like it's like that's what I have to do. It's not about like, I get a thrill out of, making sure I'm seeing all these people.
I get off, not in a sexual way. I get off on the interactions.
Yeah, and that's not
that's
me
why,
at all.
and
That's why I think there's a little bit of a
because
difference.
You love the you read our feedback probably more than Spot and I.
Because I'm committed to winning.
No, but I'm just talking about the interactions with other people. Like if I see some funny shit, I'll text my friends and anxiously wait for like, did they find that funny? I love the interactions. And I was talking to my buddy Walter about this the other day. I feel like you need to surround yourself also with people that keep you mentally sharp. You brought up this point recently, and Spot even, Spot, who loves to shit on us every day, actually did say once that he feels like he stayed, like he's gotten sharper by our conversations and just, we're always trying to outwit each other with a little one-liner here and there. Like if you hang out with a bunch of duds, I feel like you will regress. You will become like,
show me your friends.
Yeah, like I feel like there's certain people in my life that are very witty and quick to the punch, and I feel like I'm constantly trying to make sure we're fucking jabbing back and forth. But if you had a bunch of friends that are like, meet you at the bar at 8, Hank, all right, later. Like I feel like you'll end up becoming like a boring, brain dead person.
They're witty like Kenny Whitman.
See? Man, Spot. So
quick to the point, no faking. Cooking MCs like a
pound of bacon.
Oh man, he's so quick, this guy.
And
turning them.
Stay quick and nimble. I go crazy when I hear a cymbal hi-hat
with a souped up tempo. I'm gonna roll. Time to go solo. Rolling.
Souped hero.
So let's get into the rando news real quick. Spot, it's actually somewhat.
Oh wait, no, hold on.
sports-related.
I got something different.
I want to break up because I just want to break up the deep thoughts. The deep thoughts are exhausting, and then you know what I'm left with? A feeling of I shouldn't have said any of that. That's what I'm left with.
No.
I'm hoping to be relatable.
I think
but then I'm left feeling like a bitch who fucking just cried for an hour.
You're venting.
No.
It's fucking lame.
People relate to this more than you know.
I hope, but I hate
No, for sure.
I don't know if the reward matches.
I think everyone feels the same way you do. I think if honestly everyone evaluated their life, I think they would feel like nobody does anything for them.
Yeah, but guess what,
And
Spot?
everyone's
These are all
against them.
choices that essentially I made, right? So you just got to deal with it.
Hey Spot, can I send you a picture? Can you blur out my street address on my house though?
Sure.
Why'd you huff and puff? Like, is that a big ask?
Can you do it before you send it?
How do I'm trying to mark up a photo and it's not letting me mark up the photo for some reason. The little pen in the right corner, right? Markup.
Yeah.
It's not highlighted. It's like dull.
Did you go to edit?
I did.
Send me the photo. Text it to me.
I'll text it to you,
I'll
Spot.
figure it out.
Because I'll break it up with something. I have a good question for you guys, and it's light. It'll take us away from the serious nature of all the fun conversations we're having today. My daughter, we came home from school yesterday, and
what'd you learn, Rich?
You know what's about? I have a version of it that doesn't need editing, so I'll send it to you right now. Emmy thought they were pizza boxes on top of our house.
I just crop out your? I'm just gonna crop it out.
Yeah,
That's
crop
fine.
it out. We got home from school yesterday, and they're redoing our roof, and they got all the panels. They got all the panels on the roof, like the I guess you would say the plates of the pallets of the different things they're putting on the roof. The roofing. Emmy was like, Dad, why are there like 20 pizza boxes on the roof? And
Uncle Spot was hungry.
For a minute, I was like, oh, Emmy.
Squirrels ordered out.
Yeah, like she thought these were 20 pizza boxes on the roof. And I'm like, man, she's getting to a point where she's like just a funny kid. And again, we talk about like life and everything. I'm like, man, I just want her to be just so fucking cute and fun forever. Yeah, look, she's like, Dad, why are there pizza boxes all over the roof? I'm like,
Uncle Spot is hungry.
I'm like, I don't know, honey.
The birds are having a pizza party.
Yeah, it's a pizza party. Look at that. All the pizza boxes on the roof, Dad.
It's Miguel and friends having a pizza party. I saw them putting them up there yesterday.
Yeah.
They pull up a truck that has a conveyor belt. I'm sure everybody knows.
Yeah.
But they pull up a truck that has a conveyor belt, and one guy's just loading them on.
Was Jamiroquai there dancing?
Yeah.
Futures made of. Yo, I'm amazed simply. Like I'm hearing, I don't know if you guys could hear, you probably can't, but you could hear there's like 10 guys on the roof right now. And
I don't think someone's going to fall right here.
Yeah, I'm just amazed that
there hasn't been 10 guys on Rich's roof since the early 2000s.
I know. It's the truth. But I'm just amazed that, I mean, they know the strength of a roof, I'm sure, that this is what they do.
Well, Lisa's saying bundles of those are 80 pounds, so they're not easy to just,
I mean, they have wheelbarrows up there. There's like crews of people. It's like, man, I'd be a little scared to fall. This house is old. Like, I'd be scared to fall through that shit, but they do it all the time, so they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing, but it is weird.
I'm amazed that the roof is strong enough to withstand all of that shit.
I hope if someone does fall, though, that they fall directly in between you on the desk.
Yeah, if someone's going to fall through the roof, I want it to be in the studio so that at least something good comes out of it.
Just not on top of me. That's all. That would be great. So
I think you'll start to hear you'll hear something buckling.
Well, they'd have to fall through the roof into the attic and then through the attic into here. So it'd be like, boom. And then after the first blump, then you'd have to.
The rumbling's insane. It's intense.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of shit on Rich's roof. A lot of people there, too.
Yeah. Pretty wild. Pretty wild.
I don't know if you could hear that.
The bummer is that
if you're not watching today, Rich is getting his roof done, and the pizza boxes are roof shingles. So if you're not watching, that's what we're talking about.
The only bummer, and I guess it's not their responsibility, but they ripped up the whole previous roof, right? So by ripping up the previous roof, the side of the house where we have grass and the lemon tree and like the kids like little easel and chalk and all their little fun things, I cleaned it up as good as I can, and I went on my hands and knees like in the early 2000s for probably an hour, and I found 12 nails, and I did it again and found 0. So I think I got it, but it's like one of those things, like, is it their job to get every single nail, or is that the annoying thing I had to do? You know, like. In the early 2000s. Exactly. In the early
2000s. Rich hasn't been on his hands and knees
like that since.
With 10 guys on the roof since the early 2000s.
There's a nail joke in there, too. I just can't figure out the wording.
Yeah.
But. You know what, man? I was thinking about it. You know, I ran over another nail the other day and I had to go get it fixed.
It wasn't at my house.
You sure about that?
That wasn't I parked in the street right where you were. There's no. You think a nail flew from my house to the street?
I mean, these guys back and forth. I mean, I'm not blaming you.
No,
I'm saying there's a good chance.
No, I think we're good. Oh, yeah, Spot. You know what? I wish my address wasn't on this. I have a video of these guys really fucking tearing it up. All right. But yeah, no, it's
Are we still talking about the roof?
I wouldn't post it. People are weird.
People are weirdos. I know.
All right, so
are weird.
Real quick.
I know.
Super quick.
Just to break it up.
Break it.
Rando news. A lot of it's sports related, not sports news. So relax, Ian Kennedy,
So
and
which
you
one should I
nerds who
play?
don't like sports.
Oh.
I'm not even you know what's crazy about that all the time?
Should I
Like
do
people who don't
sports?
like sports. I'm not even like a crazy sports guy.
That's the
Because
weird
I
part,
know
yeah.
crazy
Could've fooled
sports
me.
guys. No, it's the truth.
See, that's the thing. You're
do
the
I do
weirdo.
fantasy sports? Like, have you ever heard me talking about gambling, fantasy sports?
Rich, I have Rich has.
Like, I fucking roll my eyes when people nerd out on sports.
Again, he doesn't know. That's the thing.
I think we're
it's
such
the circles you run in.
a great balance
No,
of
you're
like,
right.
this is things
Bro.
you got to know about.
Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't
run
know.
in straight lines. I don't like running in circles.
I don't get that.
Sometimes you don't know when you don't know. Like if you don't know, you don't know. If you're not in the circle, like spot.
If you don't know, now you know.
Spot. It's like perspective. Like if you dated a girl, if you never dated a girl with a big ass, you're gonna think a girl with like an average ass has a big ass.
It's perspective.
It's perspective. Like
Did you
Spot
think-
thinks we talk a lot about sports. He's never dealt with guys that are like sports fanatics. Like I have friends and people in my life that listen to sports talk radio all day, and they have multiple fantasy teams, and every day they're watching this movie, this game.
It's funny. You know what I have to do sometimes, Rich? Because people assume like there's just like regular dudes.
There's a
right?
preconceived
Let's
notion.
say there's regular dudes, and they want to talk to me about, dude, what do you think? And I'm like, I have to respectfully say, hey, listen, man. That's not my thing. I really don't care. I'm just a fan.
Well, can I make a quick point? Can I make a quick point?
I'm glad you think that I have some sort of hot take on that, but I don't.
Let me make a quick point, and it's that because we worked for ESPN and Fox, and people don't realize that we were hired to be like the pop culture light type of.
Do I enjoy the fuck out of watching a good game? Yes.
Yeah.
Love it, but I'm not a nerd about it.
But what I'm saying is because we worked for the two biggest networks in the sports world,
I'm very proud
which is
of
an
that.
honor.
Yeah.
But because of that, people think.
By the way, speaking of no one loving us, I don't think we get enough credit for that. I just don't. I just
Stop
don't.
it.
I really
I'm
don't.
saying because we
I don't.
because we have worked at
He's right, you know.
we've worked at the two biggest sports networks on planet Earth.
And yet I still feel like the village idiot. So please help me.
But listen, because of that,
Can't help you there.
the average person doesn't realize we were hired.
Sorry, you're on your own
we
on
were
that
hired
one.
by both of those networks because we were not sports guys.
Yeah.
But to the outsider, like if I go play Saturday
Ooh, Jen.
softball, if I'm playing softball,
Yeah. Yeah.
they'll
exactly.
be like, yo.
And they know more than you, probably,
They
right?
They know way more than me. They'll
That's
be
the thing.
like, they'll be like, hey, should I trade Devontae Adams for this wide receiver and this? I'm like, I don't even know the other guys he's naming.
I give him
I'm
the
like,
shrugging
bro,
Indian
it's
now.
up to you.
But I respectfully say, man, I don't know that
I'm
shit, dude.
respectfully asked way more questions about stuff I am unqualified to answer, but because the average person doesn't realize, Covino and Rich, they're the pop culture sports guys. They're just sort of the fun guys that know a little bit about sports. They're delusionally thinking we know more. And anytime, all right, if we did, this is the great.
If anyone thinks we're doing sports talk, then I respectfully say,
You're an idiot.
You don't know what sports talk is.
Yeah, sports
You've
talk
never
is
heard
Mad Dog
sports
Russo.
talk.
Sports talk is the other guys on Fox and ESPN that are sports talk is Adam Schefter talking about the different free agency moves or
Sports talk is Adam Shine, who, by the way, dude, I haven't had one single thought about Adam Shine in 3 years. And I happen to see him on social media.
Yeah.
It's like a guy I totally forgot about.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, it's Adam Shine. I totally forgot he existed.
It's wild to me.
Unbelievable.
It's wild to me.
Unbelievable. No disrespect, but unbelievable. I haven't thought about him in 3 years. Unbelievable.
It's-
my God.
It's crazy
Adam
to
Shine.
me.
My God.
Let's talk sports.
People think we know more than we do about sports because we've been hired by the two biggest companies on Earth.
We sure have.
So with that said, here's my analogy. If outside of SiriusXM and outside of our Covino and Rich
I'm so
talk
glad
show,
you said that because I want to say this. Our resume is stellar.
agreed.
Stellar.
It's fucking
Outside.
like Incubus.
Outside
Stellar.
of Covino and Rich on SXM,
Pretty stellar.
Turbo, Octane, K-Rock, Z100, all outside
Maxim,
of if you took
SiriusXM.
away,
It was like every brand we ever were a
if
fan
you
of,
took
we
away,
worked for.
if you took away SNY, ESPN and Fox and replaced it with, follow me here. If you replaced it with Entertainment Tonight, E and MTV.
Go on.
People would be like, oh, Covino and Rich. And if we talked about the same exact thing, they'd be like, guys, stop talking about stop talking about all this girly pop culture shit. And because it's subconscious. Like my boss at SXM was like, yo, and this is I'll pat myself on the back.
Can you reach there?
Barry Horowitz style.
What else is new?
Sometimes I have tight shoulders.
He goes, it's really hard for me to tell you much of anything. I have to do my monthly criticism of you, but honestly, you've been fucking sounding on point. Two things. I'll give you two things.
Oh.
We do the Pulse countdown. I think you said twice, like, yeah, we give you a fresh 15. The countdown's called the Pulse Top 15. So even though I know what you're saying, if you say fresh 15 so many times, people might think that's the name of the countdown. I was like, I get you. That's fair. I was like, well, who gives a shit? I won't say that. Fresh, because I'll be like, yeah, this weekend, a fresh 15.
He gave everybody a fresh 15, but he gave Sarah a fresh 5. Not even like 4.5.
So,
yeah, because even if you have 5, you're not going all the way in. It's very hard to.
I
get it
meant
all
minutes,
in.
but you're talking.
what are you talking
inches.
about? Jeez.
He's talking inches.
So it's
that's what I thought you meant.
It could have went either
and the
way.
other thing was, I know, I got this. And he goes, I know you're a sports guy, but maybe once in a while.
Sports guy? You mean a fan who watches the game?
Maybe once in a while, take away one sports reference a show. And I was like, yeah, you got it, boss. But I said to him, I go, truthfully, you know what my sports reference on SXM will be? I'll say, because I'm on at night on the Pulse, right? So like at 6 or 7
You're
p.m.
using it as a time reference.
At 6
or a day reference.
At 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern,
Yeah.
I'll say, hey, hopefully you had a good day today. It's the Pulse, Rich Davis. Hey, by the way, don't forget tonight, Warriors, Celtics, and if you're stuck in the car, NBA radio here at SXM. I know I'm Steph Curry going for number 5. Hey, here's Bruno Mars.
Man, you're such a sports guy.
But because we work for Fox and ESPN and
know.
everything, they'll be like, oh man, he's a sports guy. If I never worked for those networks, I guarantee they'd be like, good cross promo.
I don't think.
I bet.
Maybe. I was gonna say, but I don't think that is the audience on the Pulse really like.
Who isn't watching the NBA playoffs casually, or who? If I would have said, and we have $1 billion partnership with the NBA, so that to me is
I mean, tomorrow, that's the biggest thing going on.
I mean, even I know what happened.
So my point is,
But I have to.
So yeah, it's just
sports related updates. Spot, hit it.
Sports. Own it. Sports.
Generic footage. Is there any basketball? No, yeah, that is sports. I'm like, did I include basketball there?
I already mentioned it, but I got to tell you,
It's
man.
like a pickup game in a high school.
At first, I didn't care, guys. At first, I didn't care. But then when I started to watch it, it really hit my heart. I'm not going to lie.
Derek Jeter's Instagram.
Some little kid tweeted at Derek Jeter. By the way, this was in 2014. Some little kid tweeted Derek Jeter in 2014. Derek Jeter has no excuse not to have a Twitter account by now. And all these years later, 8 years later, Derek Jeter says, looks like I finally officially run out of excuses. Bam, he's on Twitter just like that. Derek Jeter, who was such a pop culture, at one point young guy that everyone admired, was not a part of social media. He remained off of it. He did his Turn 2 Foundation. That had a page. It was, promoted on social media, but he never had his own personal stuff. And out of nowhere, he decided, hey, I'm on Twitter. And just like that, 300,000 followers overnight.
Well, he's Derek Jeter.
Right? Then he's like, yeah, fuck it. I'm going all the way then. He's on Instagram. 200,000 followers overnight. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. When I start watching him out of his element I say this fucking kindly, okay? I'm by no means comparing myself. But watching Derek Jeter talk about his family life and what it's like to chase around 3 girls and seeing him not in his, stuffy buttoned up Yankee sort of way and talking about like what life is really like is kind of how I feel maybe why you enjoy Behind the Velvet Ropes and things like that. Like that little insight of your real life off the radio. because I was like, I don't give a fuck about it. I love Derek Jeter, but whatever, he's on social media. But when I started to see him be a real person, I'm like, oh, this is really cool, man. So I was happy about that. So it is a big story because everyone from the hip hop world to the sports world is coming at Derek Jeter with shit. And now he's starting to burn people, like you said. Like
some guys like Derek Jeter's super overrated.
Yeah.
And then someone hit him back. Derek Jeter hit him back with him signing a kid's autograph on his back.
Nick, is that you?
Yo, is that you?
Like I was signing autographs for you when you were a little pumpkin pie haircutted kid. Yeah. So just to see one of your heroes out of their element in a vulnerable, different type of atmosphere it's really fucking cool for me. So Derek Jeter's on social media. It sounds like, why is that a big deal? It just is. I don't know why.
I saw, I've always loved Norm, but the last 2 days I watched his special and then I watched his Comedians in Cars with Seinfeld last night. Yeah. Just reminiscing about Norm a little bit. He does a great joke about how some guy, Norm was known to be a gambling addict. Mm-hmm. Norm Macdonald was a big sports gambler, to tie it into sports. So Norm tells a stupid Norm Macdonald joke where he's like, yeah, I was at a casino and some guy was gambling on everything. He bet on 6 basketball games. He was 0 for 6. He bet on 12 football games. He was 0 for 12. He bet on, get this, 8 baseball games. He was 0 for 8. And I'm like, man, you had a bad day. Well, tonight there's a hockey game. And the guy goes, well, I don't know anything about hockey.
You don't know anything about anything.
Meaning like, you don't know anything about hockey. You were 0 for 8. Yeah, just a typical like Norm, like you have to think about it for a second. Like,
you don't know about shit. That's a great one. I love it.
Typical Norm is great.
The difference doesn't make.
But love Norm.
Yeah, love Norm. You know what? Like, Norm, very private guy. Derek Jeter, even though very well known, very private guy. And to see that he's just a normal dad, it's endearing. And, he's opening himself up to a whole different world that I'm sure he's aware of, but man, he's out there now. Another sports-related news.
Can I sneak in a news alert?
Sure.
There's a verdict was reached in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. It will be announced at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific.
Okay.
So unfortunately, it'll be right after our show, but you can switch to the live stream of the verdict right after the show.
We don't need to get into this, but
we all know.
Regarding that,
we all know.
Cove, Amber Heard. I'll get to it in a second. Finish the sports stuff. I'm sorry. So sorry,
yes,
Charlie Murphy.
Cubs fan. By the way, I wonder if Cubs fan
Stop it.
realizes how grating his feedback is. Like, it's so eye-rolly, dude.
Stop.
I just don't understand why people choose to be that way.
Why does everyone
that's the role you want to play in society?
Some people like to be the ball buster.
Why does
and some people?
But that's what I'm saying. Do you realize it doesn't come across as ball busting? Are you that unaware sometimes?
Yeah, some people are.
Well, then be more aware.
No, but I mean, some people
I appreciate the subscription and the feedback and the interaction, but it's like,
but some people like to be.
Yes,
some people
Jeter finally joined Twitter and Instagram.
Some people
That's
like
the
it.
Story, dude.
Some people like to be that guy, and you know what? Maybe they're they're not completely self-aware. That's all. No one is.
Okay, Carmelo Anthony.
There's other guys like that. It's not just Cubs. There's a guy that's commenting right now that I think he reached out to me personally once.
Oh,
but
that guy, same jerk.
Oh, no. He reached out to me personally once.
He was
like, yeah, I'm just busting balls. And I'm like, all right.
Jerk. There's a difference. You know what? You're not good at ball busting then. I'm sorry to break the news to you.
Yeah, but you're not good at accepting ball busting though, too.
But it's not good ball.
It's a combination. I know
good ball busting.
No, it's a combination of
bad ball busting.
Ineffective ball buster and guy that doesn't like getting his balls busted. So you guys are just not.
I grew up with professional ball busters.
I got balls. Can you bust mine?
Professional ones. They're good at it. Like, you guys, sometimes just the feedback is
yeah. Let's then stop reading the same 5 people's feedback and read all the feedback. It's like it's like 1,000 people.
This guy, again, another guy who chooses to be like an asshole.
Yeah, but you know what?
I may be an asshole, but I don't choose to be.
He chooses to be an asshole, but supports us.
So
Look at it this way: it's like Rotten Tomatoes gave Top Gun Maverick 96%, which means 4% of people. Or no.
Yeah, but that's why would you make that choice?
Some people like to be that 4%.
When you write stuff out, so you have conscious, you're making a conscious effort. Like, I am who I am, so you could think I'm an asshole.
Yeah, but
I'm trying not to be
some
an
people
asshole.
like that role.
I watched,
I mean, I think it's a sucky role.
An episode of Frasier last night.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just throw on random shows just to ease my night away. Frasier. It was an episode because he's a radio host, and he was watching like through a two-way mirror, like a panel talk about his show, and everyone in the room was like, "This is the greatest show. I could listen to him all day long. I love his voice. Oh, I can't wait I could listen to the show for years to come." There was one guy played by Tony Shalhoub who was like, "I just don't like him." He's like,
and Frasier was probably like,
Frasier just like couldn't get past the fact that he just didn't like him as a person, sought him out, and then this is where the hilarity ensues. Yeah. Sought him out, he ran like a newsstand. And then like a series of unfortunate events. He just ended up burning down the guy's newsstand. But
honestly,
you're fixating on this one person.
You can have fun. Fixated on there's good ball busting. We get our balls busted all the time, and then there's people that think they're ball busting, but they're just being rude and obnoxious.
But you take the wolf bait. You take the wolf bait because.
But I don't get that.
No, you do.
I don't get that behavior.
All right, you could look at our feedback.
I just don't expect me to get it. I don't get it. I love a good ball busting.
I know, but what I'm saying, thousands of people with feedback. And you know what catches your eye? Like Spot said, like Fraser Crane. What catches your eye is the one guy that's like, "Yeah, Covino, yeah,
really?
Good luck with that."
Like, I haven't acknowledged that guy in months, but I just.
All right,
I just don't get it, so I'm making an observation. So
how about you roll through the text message right now and acknowledge all the people that are saying how you're fucking killing it today?
No one acknowledges more of our listeners than I do. I fucking reach out to them personally. I leave them voice messages. I shout out. I write names to shout out every day because I appreciate all the great response. And I don't expect an ass kissing at all. I love when people have fun and they break balls. That's what people do. There's a difference.
I'll give you one. I'll give a nice shout out to someone.
Dude, we get our balls squeezed 24/7. Squeezed. That's not a good thing. I like mine gently handled. We get them squeezed all the time. There's a difference when people are just like, they say like rude and obnoxious things, and it's not funny.
So getting back to your thoughts, Manu. You said there was something about the program you didn't like. Can you be more specific? Well, I don't like him.
That's funny.
I don't know. I just don't like him.
That is fun. All the time. It's a great show. Yeah, it's fantastic. He's wonderful. I love the show. My God, Frasier, this is a love fest. I can't believe we were even worried about it.
I just don't like him.
That's funny, Spot. That is part of the culture we live in.
Yeah,
you're Frasier.
You know who said that recently, Rich? This is a side-related news story. The black girl in Obi-Wan Kenobi, I don't know her name. I apologize. I didn't plan on discussing this. But the black woman who plays the Inquisitor, I believe is her character. She's Flea's boss, but she works on the dark side. No pun intended. The black woman...
I'm not a part of this.
Is the same black woman in Queen's Gambit. Remember the girl's friend?
Yeah, of course. Her best friend.
She has a main role in the new Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Nice. Good for her. Two big roles.
Yeah, she's really great in it. But she's getting a lot of like, you're the token hire. Ooh. You're the, you know what I mean? Like you're only here because they're trying to fill a quota.
That's whack.
And she's like, and don't get it wrong. I'm getting so much love and so much praise, and I'm so grateful for this role. But I'm only human. Of course, I'm going to notice those things.
Ingram is her name.
What's her name?
Moses Ingram.
She's
great.
And it is a news story where she's having to deal with a lot of hate. But of course, the love and the support outnumbers the hate. But the negative shit is always going to stand out.
Yeah.
And it's like,
well, also over,
save it,
Covino,
man.
much like
I just don't get that behavior.
Much like much like texting a friend or a girl and not knowing tone. If you don't know, let's say Hank that hits us up all the time, Hank could be like, yeah, Covino, great answer. Or he could be like, Covino, great answer. Like, you don't know the tone. So, like, someone could be like, wow, he's really interpreting.
You know a tone after years and years of seeing the same people's feedback.
But you harp, but it's common human instinct to harp on the negative opposed to the positive. That is just normal behavior.
Yeah. So she's dealing with that as we speak. All right,
and
back
Spot,
to the news.
How coincidental that Spot pulls up that perfectly timed Frasier from
honestly,
25 years ago clip.
It was either Frasier or the Golden Girls last night. Chose Frasier.
Great episode. I feel like I want to watch that episode now.
To be that episode.
That shit looked really
I told you
funny.
he ends up burning
I just don't like him.
He ends up because he tries to go.
But dude, that's fair though. That is, you just don't like people sometimes. That's fair.
Yeah.
You know, but if your constant narrative is just like rude, like I just don't get that. I don't get that. Especially again, I'm a guy not trying to be that way.
Yeah.
But I'm sometimes perceived that way. I'm like, I'm not trying to be that way. All right. Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo's in the news?
I think
he retired?
No, it's just a funny story.
Oh.
Somehow, I read this on Hoops Hall. I don't even know what that is. Hoops Hall.
Is that like a
Carmelo Anthony on wanting to change his name in the 3rd grade. And I'm sure like a lot of people probably went with some sort of went through some weird phase where they had an identity crisis or whatever. But he said that he tried to change his name in 3rd grade to Tyrone Johnson, which is so funny. He said he was sick of people like misspelling and missaying his name.
Carmelo.
He goes,
it's Carmelo. I mean, but then again,
people kept butchering on how to spell his name.
Where did he grow up?
There was a whole summer where people were butchering his name, so he tried to change his name to Tyrone Johnson because nobody fucking with Tyrone Johnson. So in his 3rd grade
Tyrone
brain,
Johnson.
He's like, yo, fuck, Carmelo sounds soft. No one knows it. Carmelo Anthony. He's like, he really tried to get people to call him Tyrone Johnson because in his mind that sounded like a name no one.
He grew up in Brooklyn. There was
how did you? How was it probably right around the time the Caramello candy bar came out? So it was probably like Caramello. Oh,
Carmelo.
Tyrone Johnson is hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, Carmelo, we know it now, but think about it. It's not
but in Brooklyn, it's a very
I've never met a Carmelo anything.
A hodgepodge of culture in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I imagine Carmelo wasn't a rare name.
Do you know any other Carmelo than Carmelo Anthony? You know Carmela's women. Do you know any Carmelo? It's like Junios. Covino. Do you know any? Name another Carmelo. Go ahead, Spot.
Carmelo.
Yesterday we played name a Tom, a Harry, and a Dick.
I don't know.
Name a Carmelo.
Any other Carmelo.
Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelas.
Yeah.
Carmelo's soprano.
Yeah. Carmelo's is
Here's
the
the
pizzeria
story
in my
real
hometown.
quick. Carmelo Anthony tried to change his name to Tyrone Johnson in 3rd grade because people kept butchering how to spell his name. That whole summer, people were butchering my name. It was just like Carmelo with one L, Camelo. There wasn't nothing bad to it. I just didn't like people effing my name up. So I write the name Tyrone and I'm looking around and I'm seeing what last name I'm going to go with. So I see a textbook and it's like Johnson and something in the textbook. So I'm like, Tyrone Johnson. Ain't no one effing with Tyrone Johnson. Golden story. Happy 38th to Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo. It's interesting. You know, our buddy Stanley T. I don't know if he talked about this on the air. Probably on the morning mashup. But you know his daughter went through like, I want to change my name. And even her friend, it was nothing.
Kids nowadays.
No, it was not. It was not a.
Ever.
No, it was not a sexuality thing. It was just she was like, I don't like my name, and Stanley T's like, but that's your name, and she went by all her girlfriends in school and guys. Everyone was calling her the new name she sort of calls herself.
Yeah.
And Stan was the one guy that's like, I'm not playing. I named you whatever I'm going to name.
It's awkward.
And like Stan was insulted by it, but his wife and the brother, everyone in the family was like, if that's what she wants to be called. And Stan's like, nah. So it's,
Yeah, I'm with Stan, to be honest.
There was a possibility that I would have gone by my middle name. That's why my mother gave me a very plain middle name because Christian wasn't a popular name. So she's like, you can maybe you'll call yourself Michael if Christian sounds weird.
Yeah, but there were so many Michaels in the 80s spot. You would have just been another Michael.
It's an old guy name.
Christian, I'm one of the first Christians. I made the name Christian popular.
I'll tell you this. There is
but life was brand new as Tyrone Johnson.
If you grew up on Long Island or Jersey, and I say that particularly because it's a very Italian area, East Coast. If you grew up in Jersey or Brooklyn or Long Island, I could promise you there were at least 2 Michaels and 2 Anthonys in every class.
Easy.
And sometimes there was a Michael Anthony.
Yeah. So Michaels and Anthonys.
And he was in Van Halen.
Yo, Michaels and Anthonys, come on.
Well, all right, moving on. A lot of speculation on the new Madden cover.
Well, that's good though. People like it. People like people like the fact that they're going with the OG.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the right time.
It's the right time.
It's the right time.
Passed away. Boom! They came out with the new Madden cover, and it's freaking John Madden, the All Madden edition. Boom. It's great.
Boom.
I mean, it's his game. What a legacy he left with that game. And people might not know, it's common knowledge, but he wanted it to be realistic. He was committed to that. He wanted real football. He wanted people to understand how it worked. And that's why the game's a big success. Not only was he marketable, but he had a huge influence on what the game should be.
Is it the 23rd Madden?
I don't know.
What Madden is it? I think I saw something that said 23. I think it maybe even older than that, right? Of course.
I just think that's really cool.
How many Maddens have there been?
What you gotta do is go here. You go up there.
There you go. And it's like, boom. And then
you
go through. And
you got a little
the
cartoon of Madden there, and he's coming out of the little thing there. And then it's got the title up there, All Madden Edition.
I think it captures him, though. It really does. I mean, we've seen him busting through the wall in Miller Lite commercials. But that's a good one.
According to
Ace is the place.
Google, there have been 40 different editions of the Madden game. But I got to ask you, what makes you feel older? That there have been, 20-something to 40-something, depending on how you, like sometimes a different edition might just mean a different cover, a couple different codes, I guess, in the game. That or the fact that we remember like WrestleMania 2. And like WrestleManias are in there almost 40 now. But when you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, WrestleMania 3 when Hogan slammed Andre. WrestleMania 3? That's like our parents if they were like, yeah, Super Bowl 2. And you're like, you remember Super Bowl 2? Like Joe Namath in 1969. Happy belated birthday. I
feel that way about UFC, to be honest, too, because I was getting those pay-per-views from the very beginning of it. You would think I'd be way more into it, even though I really do love it and respect it.
Yeah.
I was on that shit early. I was ordering the Tough Man competitions, which eventually led to the UFC competitions. And, I mean, look how far that's come. I mean, we've seen art forms created in our lifetime.
I just think to myself, though, to me, you could say it's UFC. That's a great answer. I'm not even a big wrestling guy at all anymore.
You were alive when hip hop was.
But there's a part of me that's like, every time I see like the new logo for WrestleMania come out, and our guys like Chris Rucker and Marty and some of these guys that love wrestling are posting pictures like WrestleMania 38 or what. All I think is, my memories of single-digit WrestleManias are crystal clear. Like, oh yeah, WrestleMania 5 when Hogan and Macho, mega powers exploding. Like, memories that are crystal clear from when I was a little boy. It would probably be, honestly, it would probably be like when your dad would say something like, oh yeah, Bart Starr, Super Bowl 1. You'd be like, Super Bowl 1. You remember fucking Super Bowl 1. That's got to be one.
Stop. Getting old sucks.
And timestamp for the old feeling old. This week, 20 years ago, started the audition process for the first season of American Idol. So right now, 20 years ago, Kelly Clarkson was a regular little country bumpkin trying to sing. So Kelly Clarkson started her American Idol journey right now, 20 years ago.
Speaking of, I think...
Boom.
30 years ago, Derek Jeter was drafted on this day by the New York Yankees.
I'm so excited to watch that documentary, and I hate it because I'm a Mets fan, but Jesus Christ, he's such a legend in the New York area that
it's going to be interesting.
As much as I don't care for the Yankees,
talk about
I'm just as excited as I was to watch Last Dance and Man in the Arena, to watch the Jeter legacy.
He goes, way to make a guy feel old. 2 hours ago, in fact. Way to make a guy feel old. He tweeted this. A dream come true, getting the call from the Yankees. 30 years ago today, the Yankees drafted Derek Jeter. The rest is history.
Wow.
Shout out to the captain. You know what's cool about Derek Jeter? Not to bring it back. Yeah, I hope so. I hope he touches on it. But
he touched on it.
He's a guy that garnered the respect of everyone in baseball. Everyone, even young players now, call him captain. He wasn't their captain.
Respect.
So say what you want. So anyway, timestamps.
Retuict.
And props to John Madden.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Restuict.
Now, speaking of your Mets, Rich, Mets played the Nationals yesterday. Sterling Marte hits a bomb. I'm pretty sure it was Sterling Marte.
Sterling Marte is the bomb.
Off of Corbin, right? He hit his 6th home run.
He's hot right now. He's one of those guys. He's heating up right now.
But they're saying it's the dad catch of the year.
By far.
I don't think it is. I was impressed, but then I was misled.
He leaned over a railing that he could have very easily dropped his kid.
Well, it went extremely viral. They called it in the broadcast, like, he's going to go viral after that.
It's on SMY's
it's
Twitter
cool.
and Instagram if you can't find it. Oh, you sent it to him? Okay.
And they immediately deemed it the dad catch of the year. Like, end of story. This is it.
Oh.
And it's cool, but I was misled, and I'll explain why after you see it.
Actually, it's the main thing on ESPN right now.
Yeah, it's a big.
Must be a slow day.
It's a big viral clip. So if you didn't see it, dad's holding his little kid. Marte hits a home run. He catches the ball. Everyone's excited about it. He pulls a Michael Jackson, almost dangling the kid over the fence.
Dude,
it's impressive, but I'll explain why I was not as impressed.
How?
Your baby. Oh. And you catch that? On the fly. And baby's fine.
Wait a second.
All good.
Okay, now hold on.
So you're
That's
holding
slow
your
motion.
baby.
That's a home run going in full speed.
It wasn't on the fly. I
On the
don't think.
fly.
Yes, it was.
And baby's fine.
Okay, then I take back what I
All
said.
good.
Because I saw another clip that it
It's
looked
a
like it
400.
bounced.
It's a 400-foot
man will
blast.
go
He
viral.
leans over with his baby. That's
All
like
right.
me holding fucking Ben.
And when I first saw the clip, I was like, "Oh fuck, that's
Blow it up.
insane."
On the
But then I thought I saw another clip where it bounced on the black, and then he caught it.
And he smacks one to center field. Back goes Robles. Going back, looking up, and it's out of here.
See, it
Into the
bounces.
black.
It's not that. What's so impressive about that?
Marte launches a two-run
Wait,
homer.
It bounced.
And here the Mets.
It's
Oh,
a
wait.
matter of what clip you see. Told
Wait
you.
a minute.
Watch. So it's not that
Smacks
awesome.
one to center field. Back goes Robles. Going back, looking up, and it's out of
Bounce.
here.
Told
Into
you.
the
Wait,
black.
is that the same home run?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Marte hit 2 homers.
It's a two-run
Dude.
homer.
Huh?
I told you that week.
Again.
So it's not as impressive as everybody's making it seem. This is the power of editing, people.
Oh.
Boom, bam, I'm right.
Because even
It
Gary
wasn't-
Cohen says on the fly.
I
That's
know,
why.
but dude, I thought the same thing. I was like, wow, that's great. Wait a second.
Do you think the guy's like, oh, they're going to find me out?
Yeah, like he caught that off a bounce. Still awesome. Still a great moment for him. But catch of the year, it bounced. No, I'm not as impressed.
Not as impressed at all.
On the bounce. Thank you, Jim.
How do you feel about the New York Mets without their 2 starting pitchers?
Rich, are you going to the Mets game this week?
I know. Jim Ramsey asked me 157 times. I'm going to tell. I guess I have a story to go with it, which is why I haven't said it yet.
But are
The
you going?
Mets are 1 game. Actually, they're sort of tied statistically with the Dodgers right now for the best record in the National League, and they have not had DeGrom or
Yeah,
Scherzer.
amazing.
So you got to think one of 2 things. The Mets will get cold when their 2 best pitchers, not just their 2 best pitchers. Would you agree possibly 2 of the best 5 to 10 pitchers in baseball?
Yeah.
DeGrom and Scherzer.
You see your boy Syndergaard got lit up by the Yankees, though?
You know,
Were you
I
happy
did.
about that? Fuck that guy.
Yeah, I don't really give a shit. But
And you know what they say, dude? Honestly, I've heard so many people say this, and you really have to just marvel at it. I believe I heard David Cohn say this recently. I respect him. He's really great because he's very
Coney.
He's Coney.
It's Coney. Who doesn't like Coney?
But there's something about him where he had 0 fucks to give, but yet he's very professional in what he does. And he was like a party guy. He goes, my whole career, I thought that the greatest athlete I'd ever seen in a uniform was Bo Jackson.
Wow.
And that's a great answer, right?
Of course.
He
I mean,
goes,
that to me, that's the number 1 answer.
until Shohei Ohtani. He's like, he's the guy.
Well-
he's the Babe Ruth, even bigger. He's the greatest athlete, he says, he's ever seen. And even guys like Tyler Wade that play with him now and Mike Trout, they're like, he's faster than us. He's a big dude, and he's the greatest Little League player that ever was because what he does is remarkable. And even though it's noted, it's not noted enough.
How can you-
And I
how
bring
can
him up
you-
because he plays for the Angels with Syndergaard, former
can
Met that got lit up.
How can you argue that Shohei Ohtani is pitching like a Cy Young Award winner and hitting like an MVP candidate
And runs like a
and runs like a
speed demon.
yeah, I mean
I don't know.
he is insanely good. It's sickening how fucking good he is.
I mean, you can't tell. You have to take the word from, the people that are there and that play with them. And I mean, you could tell, I'm saying, but like when you hear like he's a better athlete than Bo Jackson, I go, oh, wow. Anyway, I'm sorry to break the glass on that home run, but you're not the only one. I was fooled. Everybody's fooled.
I'll be honest.
Thinking that was a home run catch when it was not.
So what's going to happen? This happens in every sport. Your team is lighting it up with your best players out.
Then the best players come back.
The best players come back and you cool off. I don't know what the mentality is, but
Hope not.
hope not for the Mets' sake. But right now,
That always seems to happen, though.
If the Mets are arguably one of the top 3 teams in baseball now. It seems like Mets, Dodgers, and of course the Yankees are the elite of baseball as far as like well-rounded teams. Mets might have the best lineup in baseball. That's so weird for me to say because the Mets never have a lineup like that.
I thought about it. We touched on this on FoxSportsRadio.com. If you missed any of our shows, we were on Sunday and Monday, Memorial Day. FoxSportsRadio.com. Think about it. These guys are leaders, right? A lot of times when you have leaders of a team, you let them lead. When those leaders go down, people come together, pull together, therefore forming a stronger team.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the reason why. The leaders go down, the rest of the team pulls together, they become stronger as a group as a result.
You know
the
what,
leaders come back, they're like, oh, well, the leader's back. We could like step back a little bit because the leader's back, and then they lose their chemistry.
You know what's happening to the Mets, which I don't really talk much about the Mets on the show because I think about them a lot, but I try to save you from all my Met thoughts. But right now, what's happening with the Mets, and it never happens. You know, in the beginning of the season, every sports team, football, baseball, basketball, whatever it is, you daydream about what if all the guys on my team played up to their potential? But that never happens. Like, you'll be like, yo, what if Judge, and it's happening for the Yankees. You're like, what if Judge and Stanton are both healthy hitting bombs? They'll be unstoppable. And they are.
Well, Stanton's on the
DL now, yeah. But I look at it like, you look at the Mets and you're like, all right, well, what if Marte's stealing bases, hitting doubles? What if Pete Alonso's back to his like home run league leading form? What if Lindor swings a hot bat again? What if McNeil hits over 300, which you know he's capable of? All these things are happening. And when all those like, hey, best case scenario, this happens, when they happen, that's when it's like
working on all cylinders.
Yeah. And the fact that this is the best team, one of the best teams in the league, and Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer, if you said name the best 10 pitchers in baseball, those 2 guys might make your top 5 list.
They might make your top 2.
So
and they've been out the entire time. That's Rich's point. And the Mets are still playing well. So what happens when the 2 leaders come back?
If these guys are healthy in the playoffs, if my Mets, after almost 40 years of me crying about how the Mets haven't given me a World Series since fucking Gary Carter's perm and Keith Hernandez mustache. If the Mets over the next 2-3 years or so, and with the payroll, what it is, because Steve Cohen's actually spending money, if they don't win, they'll never fucking win.
Well,
they will never fucking win.
It's not easy.
Because
That's
if you have that
we're
Mets
seeing,
lineup,
what we're seeing the Golden State Warriors do right now is amazing.
If you see,
not easy.
Yeah, if you look at that lineup with Lindor, Pete Alonso, Sterling Marte, McNeil, if you had that in the playoffs with DeGrom and Scherzer pitching, if you don't win, you will never win ever. All right, there you have it.
Nerdy. We already said.
I know. I have one last thought about the Mets, but it has nothing to do with the players. It has to do with a funny circumstance to end the show.
The last story isn't about Bo Jackson; it's about Bo Burnham. He released outtakes from his comedy special Inside that he did during the pandemic.
Yeah. Oh, the one where he like sang and entertained.
Yeah,
I love that one.
It was a big deal. People loved it. Kids loved it, especially the weenials love Bo Burnham. And it was funny. It was great. It was very next level. Like, wow, this guy's talented. But outtakes were released, and a lot of it's him mocking Joe Rogan. So it's going viral. Like it's him mocking. And you could see why. Like Joe Rogan's like an old school Neanderthal to a guy like Bo Burnham.
Well, Joe Rogan now pulled something that a lot of people like. Joe Rogan.
I sent you some of it, Spot.
Joe Rogan did the whole like, we don't have a gun problem, we have a mental health, and people are like, yeah, it's like, Joe Rogan was very put offish with that for a lot of people.
The 2 Burnhams sound off on the PC culture. It's effing exhausting, bro. As he
PC culture, man, it's fucking exhausting, right, bro. It's fucking out of control. Exhausting. It's just our culture has been taken over by a radical group of SJW feminist freaks, who hate comedians, they hate us, who are anti-comedy and anti-joke, totally. And it's gotten to the point where you can't say anything. No, literally, 100% say anything. Literally, I will try to say something right now. Yeah. Watch. Yeah, and he is trying, and it's unbelievable because we have fallen so far from the heyday of comedy.
I don't really find this funny at all.
You know, Tony the Pancake.
So
it's gone viral because he's Joe Rogan, and this is Bo Burnham.
I don't find that funny at all.
I got to tell you, for as eye rolly as you may think Joe Rogan could be on whatever he's talking about, I find that in response to be equally as eye rolly. I hate everybody.
Yeah.
The middle ground is like, that's where it has to be.
Yeah. And by the way, Kyle on PA brings up a good point. Going back to the baseball thing for a second, he goes, I remember there were years the Yankees were better than the years they won the World Series. You need to be hot in October. There was that year Seattle won like 115 games, lost. The 2010 Phillies, they had Cole Hamels, Halladay, Cliff Lee, and Roy Oswalt, and they got swept in the first round. So sometime after winning over 100 games in the regular season. So, God, I hope that doesn't happen to the Mets. If they do, you can have a laugh at my fan expense. There was a final story I wanted to end on because this is sort of funny.
You know what I want to end on?
What?
Oh
That's
my God.
Gross. What is
Jesus.
that? Who is that?
Sophia
Look
Beverly.
at those fucking kazooms. All right, anyway.
Sorry. Didn't mean,
I'm sorry.
Didn't mean gross. I thought it was just a little
I said finish.
too floppy for me.
Floppy.
Those are going to go down to her knees when she's not 20-something.
They're not floppy.
Those aren't floppy? Floppy.
Mama.
Spot is wants a bottle of milk.
So I'm suddenly very parched.
So Friday, we're all going to the Mets-Dodgers game. And I'm very excited because I'm taking Emmy. I'm taking Emmy to her first game. And it is just... It's one of those things where she's like excited about it because she's like, I want to get ice cream and cotton candy. And I bought her a little Mets shirt. And watching her like know that she's going like Friday, we're going to see the Mets. Let's go Mets. And she's being all cute about it. She's excited because she gets to see her little buddy Jordan, our buddy Rob's son. She's like, is he going to root for the Mets too? I'm like, yes. It's going to be fun, buddy. And Emmy's all excited. And Friday, I realized we actually get a pretty decent pitching matchup also. Bassett's pitching for the Mets. And what I find to be the funniest aspect of the whole thing is our buddy Monsi at Fox Sports was like, oh, you're going Friday? Yeah, give yourself a little extra time because it's going to be wild at the stadium. I'm like, why? What's going on Friday? She goes, oh, it's going to be a fucking fiesta because it's Pride Night at Dodger Stadium. And she's like, yeah, the Dodgers are going to have like rainbow hats or something. And all I kept thinking was hilarious because all my daughter loves as a 5-year-old girl, dinosaurs, unicorns, and rainbows. So my daughter is going to see rainbows everywhere at Dodger Stadium and think that, Dad, why are there rainbows everywhere? I'm going to be like, honey, how great is baseball? Not only do you get to watch the Mets with Dad, there's rainbows everywhere. So Covino, Spot, myself, Spot, your wife's a Mets fan, her family. She comes from a family of Mets fans.
She does.
And our buddy Rob, Sports Rob, and his son and his wife are going as well. But yeah, we'll be going to Dodger Stadium on Friday to watch the Mets Dodgers in, you know, two best teams in the National League going at it on Pride Night. So it'll be rainbows everywhere. My daughter is going to think that baseball and rainbows go hand in hand. So I think it's just a pretty funny coincidence that of all the days of us to go to a game together, Emmy's first game is Rainbow Night at the stadium.
Everyone's going to think Rich and I are gay lovers and Emmy's our adopted daughter.
Yeah.
Why can't I be the?
Because you're there with your wife.
Yeah.
Why? What if she's just like?
Because it's you and Kristen, Rob, his wife, and their son, and then me, Covino, and Emmy.
Yeah, I would picture Rich being into effeminate Latinos.
Yeah. So yeah, Friday night we'll be at the stadium. So,
but I'm trying to figure out who the top and who
if any Covino and Rich, or
do you flip?
If any Covino and Rich friends of the show are at the game on Friday, we'll be there. If you want to grab a beer, whatever, we'll be around from. I mean,
grab a cock. I mean, a beer.
I mean, it is Pride Night. It is Pride Night.
That was a little aggressive. I couldn't say it on Fox.
I guess Covino would be the top. You would be the bottom, Rich.
That's fine. I don't want anywhere near that stinky ass. I'll take that one.
Good for Covino. He gets the most pristine ass on the West Coast.
Quite the opposite.
Quite the opposite.
So
the opposite.
So yeah, we'll be there. And by the way, on Fox, the funniest thing in Fox is that Monsi, who is like our pal, she's great on the sports updates because she's just like, it's like a fun, cool chick.
Bubbly.
She's bubbly and fun, and she's not like a dud of a sports reporter. She's cool. I like her. And she goes on the air. She's like, oh, you're taking your daughter Friday night? That's Pride night. And she said, she's like, it's going to be nuts. Oh my God. She kept saying nuts and something else.
What
was
was
it?
Say nutty. She said
she kept
nutty.
saying it's going to be nutty.
It's gonna be nutty.
She used the word nutty and nuts like 5 times.
Nutty.
I couldn't help but think of balls.
Yeah, so if you're at the game and you want to buy us a cocktail, Pride night.
Yo, Spot and I
We'll be in the bottom.
We're like Beavis and Butthead
section.
trying not to make some
We'll
sort
be
of
in
like
the bottom section.
gay joke or something.
Yeah, we'll be in the bottom section, and it's going to be nutty. Friday night. Actually, we are going to be sitting. We're sitting right behind home plate.
We're
right there, right behind home plate.
Right behind.
Right, we're right behind. Well, everyone's going to be behind us because we'll be right there. So,
you're sitting in the rear section or the tier section.
Oh,
tier what?
Yeah, we're right there. You'll be grabbing onto the net. So yeah, we're
slow down.
Yeah, no. So Friday night.
Jeez.
Covino and Rich Pride night at the stadium.
But watching Rich find out that it was Pride night,
all of us looked at
on
each other.
national radio.
All of us looked at each other and like,
me and Spot like.
But the funniest thing was because we all felt, and the fact that she kept saying, oh, all my gay friends will be there. It's gonna be nutty, and we were like, it's Pride night.
I am wearing.
We were.
What's the weather gonna be?
Are you wearing a tank top and little shorts?
I'm wearing the shortest shorts I own.
Good.
I swear to God.
Why?
You know, because it's gonna be
Fucking
Pride
get
night.
it. He wants compliments.
I want compliments.
He wants his.
I want my bulletproof legacy.
Want to play a game?
Exactly.
Want to play a game? Let's play a game. Who can get a free drink? Who can get a free? Who can get a free $10, $15 cocktail?
So it'll probably be in like.
Hey, you want a Heine?
Oh, I could definitely. Honestly,
I don't know. What do you mean?
You know, I think of the three of us, I'd pull in the most because I'm like a bear.
Yeah, you got the.
I got a beef. I'm a beefy bear with
beefy bear with a tank top and muscles. Now, oh man. Go get a drink without your wife and see if you can. No, honestly, see if you can get a free drink. It should be a fun game.
Beer at Dodger Stadium.
That's $15. What did buddy Danny G
I'll
say?
show my nipples for a free drink.
Danny G's like, yeah, I bought 2 beers and a hot dog and it was like $50.
You know what? My investment will be a Dodger dog, and I'll just seductively eat it and see how many drinks I can get for free.
Whoever gets hit on the most wins.
That Spotty's gay. Spotty's gay. Spotty's gay. Spotty's as he's eating his dog. That Spotty's gay.
I'll get the footer.
Yeah.
Spot, why are you eating your foot long like that?
What do you mean?
So what a night.
Free drinks raw.
I can't wait. I can't wait. They say it's gonna be a party night. Listen, they're saying the crowd goes crazy and it's a fucking party. Way better than a bunch of fucking lame, late to the party, late to the game, West Coast lamos. So Friday night, Covino and Rich taking my daughter to her first game, and it just happens to be Pride night at the stadium, which I'm glad it's Pride night and not like the weird night where people, you don't want to take, when you don't want to take your kid somewhere where it's something peculiar. Like if you take your kid to like a fucking Knicks game and it's the one day they don't wear, if like, all right, let's say you took your kid to a Red Sox game, their first Red Sox game, and they were wearing those like UCLA looking yellow and blue
City
jerseys.
Connect.
And you're like,
the City Connect.
Really?
jersey.
Like my kid's first
Can you
game?
explain to me what that means?
It's like an alternate jersey.
I didn't want to ask.
Just an alternate. They call them City Connect jerseys.
Yeah,
but
just
they're
the alternate.
representing the city in a different. It's just a
Yeah,
different.
no, they take a different aspect of the city.
I
spot.
thought it meant like something to do with like a connection to a different city.
No, like they'll be like, all right, Washington Nationals. Give me something about that city that's unique, like they're cherry blossoms.
Yeah.
So the jersey is like a uniquely designed cherry blossom. Like let's say I don't know, the Colorado Rockies one is like just a bunch of mountains and different colors. Like
why did Boston look like UCLA?
Because I think it was like their original colors of something back in the day. I don't know. They do something, but you never want to bring your kid to the game where nothing looks the same. Like, oh wait, the Mets are wearing like some fucking weird throwback.
It's like going to see the
uniform
play with an understudy.
Yeah, like
That's
exactly. So I'm glad that we're gonna have a gay old time Friday night. That's the best way to put it. Thank you.
They represent the marathon. The Boston Marathon.
Oh yeah, the Boston. There it is.
Oh, there you go.
So
Cool.
There you go. Because I mentioned it, I do want to say this.
Boston Sal.
Tommy Pham is my least favorite Major League Baseball player. He recently slapped Jock Peterson
and on top
in
of that,
the face. We talked about it on Fox Sports Radio. He smacked Jock Peterson in the face because they had a little squabble where Peterson was joking during a fantasy football exchange. And since then, Tommy Pham has come public to say that Mike Trout is the worst commissioner in fantasy sports. And I just say, fuck that guy to the high heavens. Knowing the backlash that Will Smith got, and he still went and smacked Jock Peterson in the face over a joke and was suspended, but now is coming publicly and saying that, talking shit about Mike Trout, the greatest player in sports. Fuck that guy in the ass. That's another story I'm touching on. But you know what? Matt Berry, your old pal, also commented, say, being a commissioned fantasy sports is the absolute worst job in fantasy sports. That said, their league clearly could have used some stronger leadership. So Mike Trout getting criticism when it comes to being a commish.
Speaking of the slap, Jada has finally addressed the slap on her Red Table Talk.
Oh, what did she say?
She said, my deepest hope is that these two intelligent, capable men have an opportunity to heal, talk this out, and reconcile. With the state of the world today, we need them both, and we all actually need one another more than ever.
Well, it's a fair, politically correct statement. I get it.
Oh, wait. Until then, Will and I are continuing to do what we've done for the last 28 years, and that's to keep figuring out this thing called life together. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, it's a good statement. Hey, can't argue that.
Ask her if she thinks I should go to Uncle Joey's or Uncle Tommy's.
Oh,
figure that out.
Why don't you go on the Red Table Talk? Figure it out.
Why don't you ask Derek Jeter?
I will. I'm going to tweet him. What would Jeter do?
Ask me anything.
What would Derek Jeter do?
Hey, Derek, what was your favorite game? What was your favorite playoff game that we might not think about? Next question. Should I go to Uncle Tommy's or Uncle...
And I got this wedding.
It's really good. Hey, Covino, thanks for being a fan, bro. Number one, I mean, Uncle Tommy was a role model to you, you know, like captain almost, right?
Jeter's pouring his heart out. Let's get him on the show.
I love it. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. NBA Finals tomorrow. Of course, we'll be live tomorrow here on Patreon. Thank you for subscribing another month. Tell your friends about it. Remember, send them the link. No one sent them the link. We did a free show yesterday. You didn't send your friend a link to it.
And
I know you
didn't.
I know you didn't because I checked. So,
but here's the
please
beauty.
send the free link. Tell your friends to subscribe. It's another great month.
It's still active. It's on our Twitter. It's on our Twitter.
Send the link out. Please.
You can you can share the
double
show.
check. Nobody
have
did.
People watch it. See what it's all
Nobody
about.
did. It's like that viral video. Like your friends ask why you haven't made it yet. Yo, how come you ain't famous yet?
You share my stuff?
Yeah, because you ain't sharing my shit. That's why. You did not. We asked you. Hey guys, thanks for subscribing. Appreciate you. Love you. You guys are the best. Couldn't do it without you. Oh yes, can you please send this free link to your friends who are on the fence?
Oh, you know what?
No one did. I know you did.
I
know because I checked.
I say this all the time on the Have Kids, I said podcast. I always say, grab one of your friends' phones or your wife's phone or husband's phone. Anyone that's sitting around, grab their phone, right? Just go to podcast, download. Does them no harm, right?
Your flashlight's on.
Does it do them any harm?
Trying to see my nipples.
What, you wearing a see-through shirt?
So remember, free show yesterday. It's a new month. Let's make it a great one. Thank you guys for being here. First de junio. It's the first of the month.
Until tomorrow.
If I put my head on your body, you can rub your nipples and people won't think it's you.
So, FoxSportsRadio.com.
Color shirt today, so it works.
Yeah, FoxSportsRadio.com. If you missed any of our shows this past weekend, some good stuff there. It's more lifestyle and pop culture than it is sports. So, FoxSportsRadio.com. And a lot of people hitting me up about the Turbo 500 I did this past weekend.
Yeah,
no one's asking you about that. I'm kidding.
You could search Turbo 50 on the SXM app and hear the top 50. All right, so Turbo 50, and just shout outs to all. Thank you guys for being here. Appreciate your feedback, even the shitty feedback. Thanks for hearing us out.
Thanks, Cups.
And hopefully you found the first hour relatable because it's never fun to talk about real shit like that, at least for me. Not fun. So I hope you enjoy it.
Oh, big show tomorrow.
What's the show tomorrow?
So we have to talk about this. I think Sarah has finally admitted that Ben's hair needs a major change.
Happening?
His school picture is adorable because I had long hair when I was a little kid. But this school picture, I'll show you tomorrow. I'll show you tomorrow. Tell your friends. We'll see you then.
I want to shout out. Where'd it go? Fudge. I know you want to go. I think it's Jay in New Mexico. He says we never shout him out, but he listens and loves us.
Oh, Jay.
What's up,
Who's Jay? I don't know Jay. I love Jay.
In New Mexico. What's up?
Darren Burry.
Probably got that name wrong.
Funky Monkey. Neeby. What's up, Neeby?
Love you, fart boys. I'll see you tomorrow. Arrivederci, baby.
See you in the promised land.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, guys.